Hollywood, starred as an agent. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction. So please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story and all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter. And if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 226, very good. After leaving the Four Seasons Hotel in the middle of the night, Aaron headed to a West Hollywood bar to hang out. He happened to run into the premiere party for The Age of Innocence. After greeting director Martin Scorsese, and leading actors Daniel Day-Lewis and Michelle Pfeiffer, he found Winona Ryder, who played the supporting actress in the film. The Age of Innocence is a romantic novel by 1970s American author Edith Wharton, set in the upper echelons of New York society in the 1970s. Martin Scorsese directing a romance is a bit of a gimmick, Aaron said, shaking his head. After all, he's primarily known for his gangster films. You went to Venice, didn't you? Winona Ryder nodded. Yes, the film premiered there, and the crew participated in many award ceremonies. Aaron smiled and put his arm around Winona Ryder's waist. Your performance in The Age of Innocence was outstanding and received a lot of praise. The newspapers reported that several film critics associations have awarded you the Best Supporting Actress award. If nothing unexpected happens, your name will definitely be included in next year's Golden Globe and Oscar awards ceremony. This is also inseparable from the help of director Martin Scorsese, Winona Ryder said modestly. Her performance in The Age of Innocence was even better than the leading actress Michelle Pfeiffer. By the way, last time in New York, I introduced Gwyneth Paltrow to you, but you didn't seem interested in her. Winona Ryder smiled. She's crazy about you, and she's young, beautiful, and has a nice figure. That's a little unlike you. Aaron winked, then pushed Winona Ryder against the wall behind him, tilting her chin and looking down at her. My style. You think I'm someone who accepts everyone? Yeah, isn't it? Winona Ryder hadn't finished her words when the man gagged her and started kissing her passionately. The dim light filled the air, filled with the scent of hormones and alcohol. Soon, the two of them were at Winona Ryder's hillside villa in West Hollywood. The next morning, while Aaron was still asleep in bed, Winona Ryder had already gotten up. Aaron, leave later. Breakfast is ready for you. Winona Ryder came into the room and leaned over to kiss the man on the bed. Well, you're up so early. Aaron let go of the girl. Winona Ryder scratched Aaron's chest a few times, smiling. Last night was so cool. After I promote The Age of Innocence, I have to head over to the set of Little Women for rehearsals soon. Filming is about to start. Okay, I'll leave by myself later. Winona Ryder nodded. When I'm in Los Angeles, I spend most of my time here and don't go out much. Come find me here from now on, okay? In Southwest Houston, near Memorial Park at the River Oaks Country Club, Aaron purchased a sprawling, luxurious villa to serve as his future Houston residence. Christiana Yeri, who had just returned from Brazil, also joined Aaron in Houston. Is everything ready over there? Sitting on the sofa, Aaron, holding Christiana Yeri in his arms, asked about her modeling agency. Yes, it's ready. This time, I brought 3 models from Brazil. They've all competed at the 4 major fashion weeks. Don't worry about their experience, we can focus on developing them. Also, I contacted Victoria's Secret before coming to Houston. They said they need at least 10 models, while her acting skills weren't great. She was very dedicated to the modeling career Aaron was supporting. Aaron smiled. Don't worry too much. It's your first time, after all. Many people at Victoria's Secret are a little hesitant. This time, I've had the board of directors prepare $1 million for a Victoria's Secret campaign. Any models you like can come and try it out. A little more won't hurt. Christiana Yeri kissed Aaron on the cheek. Thank you. That afternoon, Rockets general manager Ray Patterson visited Aaron at the villa to discuss the new stadium. Since it was preseason, the Houston Rockets had acquired and departed some players this year, but as long as Hakeem Olajuwon was there, the Houston Rockets were a formidable team. The Houston city government is very supportive of building a new stadium, but they seem somewhat limited in funding. A new stadium was a major undertaking, and Ray Patterson took it very seriously. After all, Aaron Anderson was already famous enough, and wealthy enough. Depend on the city government. Aaron shook his head and smiled. Unless we threaten them with moving the Rockets, otherwise, getting support from the city council will be very difficult. I'll put up $100 million in cash first, then find a sponsor to sell the naming rights, and then I'll get a bank loan for the rest. $100 million. Ray Patterson couldn't help but get excited. It was a lot. Then building a new stadium will be no problem. Well, I want a multi-purpose, professional indoor stadium. When it's ready, it's going to become a landmark in Houston and a sanctuary for the fans. Aaron certainly had big ambitions. As long as the Houston Rockets performed well in the future, the stadium's reputation would be well known. New York's Madison Square Garden, long known as the Mecca of basketball, was a well-deserved sanctuary. Aaron envied such a claim. Moreover, once the new stadium is completed, as long as the team performs well, ticket sales won't be a problem, and there will be more revenue from stadium advertising. The Houston Rockets, operating their own new stadium, wouldn't be outperformed by other teams that rent stadiums. In today's NBA, few teams can truly own their own stadiums. Stadiums are expensive, and most stadiums are built by the city government and rented by the teams. Ray Patterson glanced at Aaron. If we have $100 million in cash, construction on the new stadium can begin after Christmas, and finding a title sponsor won't be difficult. We've already received numerous inquiries from banks, auto companies, airlines, and telecommunications companies. Okay, I'll invest $100 million in the Rockets this month. Aaron twitched. Did I take my words for granted? Alright, Hakeem Olajuwon, is he okay? He was the Rockets' star player and the face of the team. Ray Patterson smiled. That's fantastic. Chapter 227 Sensation in the United States. After Ray Patterson left, Aaron sat on the living room sofa and took a sip of his wine. Was it because Michael Jordan's recent loss of his father would affect his performance in the upcoming NBA season? That's why Ray Patterson was so confident? But among the NBA's top teams, besides the Chicago Bulls, there were also the New York Knicks, Seattle Supersonics, and Phoenix Suns, teams with championship potential. If Aaron told them that Michael Jordan would soon announce his retirement, I wonder what their expressions would be: surprise, shock, disbelief? Moreover, Aaron had just learned from Ray Patterson that the league was planning to add 2 teams in Canada. Toronto and Vancouver were currently applying to join the league to form teams. Currently, the league has 27 teams, and the 2 Canadian teams, if nothing unexpected happens, will be the Toronto Raptors and the Grizzlies. So, are you going to be coming to Houston more often? Christiana Yeri asked, sitting next to Aaron. Aaron shook his head. I don't have the time to come over. We'll see. I can also follow the Houston Rockets' progress in Los Angeles. Okay, get ready. We're heading to New York, Aaron said, patting Christiana Yeri beside him. With the release of Speed, it had grossed $120 million in North America and $230 million overseas, for a total of $350 million worldwide. Meanwhile, The Piano also performed well, with $40 million in North America, $100 million overseas, and a total of $140 million worldwide. In early October, Michael Jordan announced his retirement on a Chicago television station, stating, "In basketball, I've achieved everything. I no longer have the motivation to move forward, so it's time to end my basketball career." Michael Jordan's retirement announcement was met with widespread excitement, with everyone finding it inconceivable. This was the basketball legend, the scoring champion for 7 consecutive years, and the man who had helped his team win 3 championships. Not only that, Michael Jordan's retirement caused such a sensation that within 24 hours after Jordan announced his retirement, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted 125 points, and the stock price of Nike, the company he cooperated with, also plummeted 4%. Of course, the ones who were most seriously hurt were definitely the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago basketball market. After all, the Chicago Bulls' attendance rate was inseparable from Jordan. In New York's West Village office in Lower Manhattan, Jack Wells' eyes widened as he put down his newspaper. "Aaron, Jordan's retirement has a significant impact on the NBA. You just acquired the Houston Rockets, and this is happening." Aaron rolled his eyes. "Don't worry, Jordan will be back. It seems he's joining the Chicago White Sox, a minor league team in the MLB. After all, both the MLB Chicago White Sox and the NBA Chicago Bulls are owned by Jerry Reinsdorf. Furthermore, Michael Jordan's second contract with the Chicago Bulls was a long-term one, worth $25 million from 1988 to 1996. 8 years and $25 million was definitely a low price. I heard he likes baseball. Jack Wells nodded. Aaron rubbed his chin. Is it possible to trade Scottie Pippen? Jack Wells smiled. He's finally become the boss in Chicago. You want him to assist Hakeem Olajuwon? Impossible, Aaron sighed. Of course, Scottie Pippen wouldn't want to do that right now. But a few days ago, the Detroit Pistons traded Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Morris, a 1994 second-round pick, and a 1996 first-round pick to the San Antonio Spurs for Sean Elliott and another 1996 first-round pick. Aaron felt that they should prevent the future Iron Trio from forming. Should they then pry Dennis Rodman from the Spurs first? He just didn't know if his own head coach, Rudy Tomjanovich, and team boss, Hakeem Olajuwon, could keep him in check. After all, Dennis Rodman wasn't someone to be trifled with. He was a real thorn in the side. Aaron shook his head, not wanting to dwell on it. He glanced at Jack Wells. Why are you here? Do you have something to talk to me about? Oh, it's about the naming rights for the Rockets' new stadium. American Airlines is willing to pay $1.7 million annually for 10 years. Jack Wells had been sent by General Manager Ray Patterson to inquire about Aaron's opinion. After all, it was Aaron's decision. Jack Wells was currently serving as Vice President of Operations for the Chicago Bulls, and Angel International's training base was in Texas. Aaron was stunned. Is it that cheap? Jack Wells shook his head. It's already quite a bit. The Chicago Bulls' new stadium will be completed next year, and United Airlines will sponsor it. The annual naming fee is $1.8 million for 10 years. Currently, the Chicago Bulls' home court is still the Chicago Stadium, but starting next year, the team will move to the new United Airlines Center. Aaron sneered. Forget it. The one-year naming fee is so cheap, just call it the Dawn Center. It's also an advertisement for Dawn. The name American Airlines Center doesn't sound good, okay, but the budget for the new stadium is estimated to be more than $250 million, Jack Wells said with a smile. Your $100 million has been received, and the club is currently negotiating loans with several banks, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Besides, the new stadium can also get some tax exemptions from the Texas government. I believe that with the development of the league, we won't be under much pressure. Aaron nodded, stood up and stretched. Then let's start construction as soon as possible. I expect it to be completed the year after next. Don't worry, it's not a big problem. Jack Wells was not worried. After all, Aaron's capital injection was timely. Construction will start next year, and a year and a half is enough time to build this new stadium, the Dawn Center in downtown Houston. Let's go. My yacht has been renovated and is docked at the dock in East Hampton, Long Island. There will be a yacht party tonight. Are there any beauties? Of course there are. Jack Wells spread his hands. I'm also planning to bring Uma Thurman along. Aaron shrugged. It's just a few models, preparing to participate in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Chapter 228, Verbal Thanks. With films like Rumble in the Bronx and Interview with a Vampire wrapping filming, and My Best Friend's Wedding beginning production, Dawn Pictures continues its growth trajectory. Meanwhile, Turner Broadcasting System, TBS, spent $625 million to acquire New Line Cinema and Castle Rock Entertainment. Viacom acquired the video rental chain Blockbuster for nearly $9 billion. Now, Summer Redstone's Viacom and Barry Diller's QVC are bidding for Paramount Communications, with a price already reaching $9 billion. At the Sofitel Beverly Hills Hotel in Los Angeles, Kate Beckinsale, arriving from London, entered a suite with some trepidation. She finally breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Aaron Anderson on the sofa. What? Worried it's a scam? Aaron smiled at the sleek, short-haired Kate Beckinsale. She was indeed youthful and beautiful. He then handed her a script. Legends of the Fallen, adapted from a novel, directed by Edward Zwick. I told you about it before, didn't I? Kate Beckinsale nodded. You mentioned it in Cannes in May. I thought you were just saying it casually. Excited and thrilled, Kate Beckinsale couldn't believe it was true. Kate Beckinsale didn't spend much time at Oxford University's French branch before dropping out and returning to the UK to pursue acting. She received 2 low-budget scripts, one of which featured her as the female lead but required physical exposure. Instead, she landed a role in a film from Hollywood's Twilight Pictures. Aaron poured 2 glasses of wine. Actually, preparations for Legends of the Fallen began a long time ago, but the director adapted the script himself, which took quite a while. Plus, we're optimistic about Brad Pitt playing the leading role. and he's willing to do so only after he finishes his other film, Interview with a Vampire. Kate Beckinsale smiled and nodded. I finished reading the novel just after I left Cannes for Paris. Not bad. Aaron took a sip of wine and asked casually, by the way, when will you graduate from college? Graduation? Kate Beckinsale shook her head and said, as for me, I've already dropped out. I left not long after my junior year this year. Dropping out? Aaron widened his eyes. You're willing to drop out of Oxford University because I want to concentrate on acting. Kate Beckinsale is only 20 years old this year, and she's already a junior at Oxford University with a very high IQ. Okay, let's go get something to eat first. Kate Beckinsale had just arrived in the United States, so Aaron had to treat her well. Soon, the two of them arrived at the hotel's internal restaurant. Brokeback Mountain will be filming in Montana and Alberta, Canada. There are magnificent pastoral scenery and vast western landscapes perfect for movies. Kate Beckinsale listened attentively to the other party's story. She cherished the script of Brokeback Mountain very much. Several British predecessors had already risen to prominence after working with Dawn Films, including Catherine Zeta-Jones, Hugh Grant, and Elizabeth Hurley. Aaron, why did you choose me? Kate Beckinsale didn't think her beauty and figure were particularly attractive to Aaron Anderson. With Aaron Anderson's current status, there were all kinds of beautiful women he couldn't get his hands on. Besides, Aaron Anderson was young and handsome. Aaron smiled. No reason, because I think you're right. Thank you for giving me the chance. Kate Beckinsale looked at Aaron. Can I buy you a drink later? Aaron nodded. In the hotel suite, Aaron Anderson and Kate Beckinsale, slightly tipsy after returning from the bar, embraced each other. Their passionate kiss heightened the hormonal atmosphere. Soon, they undressed and joined in bed. Well, Aaron, did you ever think of sleeping with me when we were in Cannes? Kate Beckinsale whispered, hugging the man she was holding. Lying on top of the woman, Aaron nodded without hesitation. Of course I did. I was attracted to you the moment I saw you. Kate Beckinsale had left a deep impression on Aaron. Her stunning appearance in the Vampire and Werewolf series Underworld. Kate Beckinsale took the initiative to kiss the man, passionately. The next morning, Aaron was lying in bed enjoying the service of Kate Beckinsale under the quilt when he received a call from Wang Xiuxin. Well, are you going back to Hong Kong? Okay, buy some properties for me as an investment. Wait until the end of the year. If I have time, I will call you. After hanging up the phone, Aaron let out a long breath. A moment later, Kate Beckinsale emerged from under the covers, breathing in deep breaths. Her face flushed, she slumped against Aaron's chest. Do I need to stay in the States? Aaron rubbed her smooth, white back. What else? Even though filming on Legends of the Fall starts at the end of the year, it's less than 3 months away, you still need to familiarize yourself with the script and participate in rehearsals. There's no need to go back to London. Okay, then I'll stay here. Kate Beckinsale had no objection. I'll stay at the Hollywood Hilton Garden Inn. Well, why stay at a hotel? Why not stay at my place? Kate Beckinsale shook her head. That's not a good idea. Your house is too luxurious. She was just a newly minted actress and had no desire to live in Aaron Anderson's luxurious villa. That evening, Aaron took Kate Beckinsale to his original small apartment in West Hollywood. Here, my old house. I was still an agent at CAA back then. Aaron took Kate Beckinsale into the house and looked around the small 2-story apartment, which brought back many memories. Ah, this place is not bad. Kate Beckinsale was indeed very satisfied. She took the initiative to put her arms around the man's neck and kissed him. Thank you, Aaron. Well, as long as you like it. Aaron put his arms around the other's waist. You can live here. There are many more opportunities in Hollywood than in the UK. From now on, you will be my, Aaron Anderson's, woman. You will definitely shine in Hollywood. Kate Beckinsale nodded. If you missed me, come find me anytime. As Aaron spoke, he felt his belt being unbuckled. Soon, Kate Beckinsale squatted down on her own initiative. Aaron was also very happy with a verbal thanks from the sexy beauty Kate Beckinsale. Chapter 229 The Sexy Girl Who Needs an Opportunity. At the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood, the ballroom was ablaze with lights and the sounds of soothing piano music as Hollywood's men and women toasted each other. Following the phenomenal success of the piano at the Cannes Film Festival, Xu Guang hosted a grand celebration for the crew. The film's director, Jane Campion, and actors Holly Hunter, Harvey Keitel, and Anna Paquin were in attendance. When Aaron arrived at the banquet, he ran into Nicole Kidman, whom he hadn't seen in a while. You seem even busier this year." Nicole Kidman smiled, pulled Aaron up to a room on the third floor, and kissed him with her fiery red lips. After a passionate kiss, Nicole Kidman leaned in the man's arms. "The Pelican Order is going to be released at the end of the year," Aaron said while ravaging the girl's chest in his arms. "John Grisham's novels are of high quality. I believe the performance of The Pelican Order will not be bad." During the summer, the Paramount movie The Entrapment starring Tom Cruise was also adapted from John Grisham's novel. It took in $150 million in North America and a total of $270 million worldwide. Well, it was because of the hot box office of The Entrapment that Warner Brothers moved up the schedule. It was supposed to be released in the spring of next year, but now it is directly scheduled for the Christmas period. Does Dawn also have a work starring Denzel Washington to be released? In The Pelican Order, Nicole Kidman collaborated with Denzel Washington. Yes, it's Philadelphia Story, starring Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington in a key supporting role, Aaron said, then kissed Nicole Kidman's lips in his arms. Nicole Kidman, panting, responded for a moment before asking, "Will Turner Broadcasting's acquisition of New Line Cinema and Castle Rock Entertainment become a competitor?" Aaron's lips curled. "Don't worry, New Line has its own autonomy, and Castle Rock is primarily a film production company, partnering with Columbia TriStar for distribution. Turner Broadcasting's financial situation isn't great, and these acquisitions were all debt-funded. Ted Turner's primary focus is still television. Hollywood isn't so easy to navigate. After all, investing in film is a risky business. Furthermore, after Sugan acquired AMC, it became a direct competitor to Turner Broadcast's TCM, Turner Classic Movies. If Aaron's guess was correct, Ted Turner's acquisitions of New Line and Castle Rock were undoubtedly intended to provide content for TCM's channels. Ted Turner had previously acquired most of MGM's remaining film library and then sold it back to Kirk Kerkorian. 2 years ago, he acquired Hanna-Barbera Animation and founded Cartoon Network. Okay, let's go down. Jane Campion is also your fellow Australian. The Piano was such a hit, it made her famous. After The Piano, Jane Campion must have been completely remembered by Hollywood, Aaron said, pinching Nicole Kidman's buttocks a few times. Nicole Kidman nodded, then adjusted her clothes and followed Aaron back to the banquet hall. By the way, that film that won the Palme d'Or at Cannes along with The Piano, has been released in North America, right? Nicole Kidman was referring to the Chinese film Farewell My Concubine. It's just been released, and it's a Chinese-language film. Its box office is definitely not comparable to The Piano. After all, it's about modern Chinese history, and not many Americans know about it. Even if Farewell My Concubine is excellent, there are definitely cultural differences between Eastern and Western cultures. The Piano is an Australian film, and it's primarily an English film. While Nicole Kidman was congratulating Jane Campion, Aaron ran into Spielberg's other goddaughter, Drew Barrymore, at the banquet. Furthermore, there seemed to be a young, sexy blonde next to her, Cameron Diaz. With blonde hair, blue eyes, and a red dress, her figure was slender and curvaceous, with curves to her features, and her voluptuous mouth was incredibly alluring. Upon noticing Aaron Anderson, Cameron Diaz took advantage of Drew Barrymore's absence to immediately come over and greet Aaron. Mr. Anderson, good evening, I'm Cameron Diaz, a model. Aaron nodded, looked at him for a few times, and clinked glasses with him. Good evening, there are not many girls with a sexy figure and sweet looks like you at the party. Cameron Diaz, now 21 years old, has a face full of youth. She seemed very excited about Aaron Anderson's compliments. Really? I'm transforming into an actor recently, really? You have acted in a movie? Cameron Diaz shook her head. I participated in an audition for Dawn Pictures' new film The Mask. I'm lucky. I've entered the final round of auditions. As she spoke, Cameron Diaz inadvertently approached Aaron, and the fullness of her chest pressed against the man's body. Mr. Anderson, do you think I have a chance to be selected? In The Mask, Jim Carrey's male lead has been decided, and the only thing missing is the female lead. Looking at Cameron Diaz, Aaron remembered that the original heroine of The Mask was the person in front of him. After all, the current Cameron Diaz is indeed stunning, a woman who is young, sexy, and beautiful. Aaron put his arm around the girl's waist and took a sip of the champagne in his hand. I think you have a chance, it's just that you have no acting experience, and The Mask is a movie with an investment of $20 to $30 million. Aaron's impression of Cameron Diaz always stayed in the Charlie's Angels series, but Cameron Diaz at that time was already a little old for Aaron himself. The Cameron Diaz and Charlie's Angels no longer had much appeal. Acting experience can be accumulated. Cameron Diaz rubbed against Aaron with a seductive look. I'm a newcomer and I really need this opportunity. Perhaps my performance will impress the audience. Aaron nodded. What you said makes some sense. After all, some movies really need newcomers. Isn't there one last audition? You do your best then, and I believe the director will make the right choice. Don now makes less than 10 movies a year, and Aaron must be familiar with each project, but he is too lazy to worry about some less important roles. Cameron Diaz blinked. I will impress Mr. Anderson. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, Viper House Club. Santa Monica, Pacific Palisades. The morning sun streamed into the bedroom. Aaron, hugging Nicole Kidman, opened his eyes while lying on the bed. It's a nice day today. Sleepily, Nicole Kidman nudged him in her arms. Well, it's the weekend, so you shouldn't have anything to do, right? What could I possibly have? I haven't seen you in so long, and I'm happy to spend some quality time with you, Aaron said, reaching out to smooth over Nicole Kidman's blonde hair. As for Cameron Diaz, whom he'd met at the Chateau Marmont last night, she was eager to have something happen, but Aaron wasn't quite so keen. Although the U.S. economy had been slowly recovering since 1991, unemployment had continued to rise. It wasn't until Clinton took office this year that the U.S. employment situation began to improve steadily, with unemployment steadily declining. Meanwhile, U.S. price increases remained low, easing the inflationary pressures the government had long faced. Coupled with strong export growth, the U.S. economy was booming. Recently, in the sports world, Michael Jordan announced his retirement, and in the entertainment world, pop king Michael Jackson faced pedophilia allegations. Politically, a military conflict erupted between the United States and local militias in Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, with street fighting erupting between U.S. Army Special Forces and local militias. Black Hawk Down, huh? In the villa's living room, Aaron watched the news repeatedly play footage of Somalis dragging the body of a U.S. Special Forces soldier through the streets, along with a captured American soldier. That afternoon, Aaron and Nicole Kidman vacationed together at Big Bear Lake in the San Bernardino National Forest, northeast of Los Angeles. Big Bear Lake boasts magnificent natural scenery, with its fiery autumn maple leaves. Boating on the lake provided a rare opportunity for them to enjoy some time together. At night, in a lakeside cottage, Aaron cradled Nicole Kidman's back, admiring the nightscape of the lake outside the window. Are you still shooting 2 films a year? Yeah. If there's a good script, I can increase that, Nicole Kidman said, turning to kiss the man. This year, when I went back to Australia, I was in touch with Village Roadshow Entertainment, a local film company. Village Roadshow is interested in expanding into the international film market, including Hollywood, Europe, and Asia. Aaron smiled. Does Village Roadshow want to collaborate with Sue Wong? As soon as Nicole Kidman mentioned this, Aaron understood what she meant. Village Roadshow Entertainment was a strong player in Australia. Many of Sue Wong's films were distributed in Australia by Village Roadshow Films. Yeah, that's an idea. The success of The Piano proves that Australian films are still competitive. Nicole Kidman is now a benchmark figure in the Australian entertainment industry. Aside from Mel Gibson, who is half Australian, Nicole Kidman is the most successful Australian actor in Hollywood. Don't worry, Dawn won't give up on the Australian market. As English-speaking regions, Australia and New Zealand are naturally suited to Hollywood productions. Dawn has already established an international film branch in Japan, and Australia is next. On Halloween, the last day of October, Dawn Films in Burbank held the final auditions for The Mask, since Aaron had almost confirmed that Cameron Diaz would play the role. The final audition went smoothly. Thank you for the opportunity, Cameron Diaz said, entering Aaron's office, her expression excited and her tone brimming with emotion. Aaron poured 2 glasses of wine and smiled. Then we should have a drink. Cameron Diaz nodded, then sat on the man's lap, took a sip of the wine, and then kissed him. Aaron responded with a tongue kiss, caressing the woman's sexy thighs. After the kiss, Cameron Diaz leaned close to Aaron's ear with an unsatisfied look. How can I thank you? You are now a Hollywood entertainment tycoon. and I'm just a small model who has just entered the film industry. There is a nice Viper House bar on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. How about I treat you to a drink there in the evening?" Aaron leaned on the sofa, caressing the sexy girl in his arms. "Viper House bar, sure." Then, Aaron pulled out his hand that was inserted into the other's underwear, and brushed it on Cameron Diaz's sexy lips. "It's still early. I'll pick you up in the evening, okay?" Cameron Diaz nodded quickly, licked her lips, showing a seductive expression, and kissed Aaron on the face. "Do you want to try my first return? What do you think?" Cameron Diaz smiled and squatted down. At night, in the Viper House bar on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, Aaron and Cameron Diaz were hugging each other on the dance floor, swaying to the music. A moment later, Aaron spotted River Phoenix rocking out on stage. Johnny Depp's newly renovated bar had likely become a hotspot for these rock stars. Aaron also spotted a somewhat youthful Leonardo DiCaprio. This year, Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio starred in the drama A Different Kind of Sky. With her hormones flowing, Cameron Diaz, dancing on the floor, grew increasingly excited. She dragged Aaron to the restroom and eagerly ripped off her clothes. Elsewhere, River Phoenix, who had come to the Viper House bar with his girlfriend, brother Joaquin Phoenix, and sister Ryan Phoenix, finished a song and left the stage. Suddenly, someone offered a drink to River Phoenix, who took it and gulped it down. He then went to his family's table and asked, "How was my performance, brother?" "That was great." His sister, Ryan Phoenix, beamed with pride, raising her glass. "Let's have a drink." Soon, River Phoenix felt a chill and turned pale. Joaquin Phoenix noticed his brother's abnormality and asked, "What's wrong with you?" River Phoenix shook his head. "Maybe he needs some rest." Joaquin Phoenix stepped forward to support him. "Shall we go back?" At that moment, the staggering River Phoenix lost his balance and vomited, startling him and alerting his girlfriend and sister, Ryan Phoenix. "Come on, you need to go to the hospital," Joaquin Phoenix said, supporting his brother as they walked out. Chapter 231 Waiting for the Opportunity. When Aaron emerged from the Viper House bar, holding Cameron Diaz, a crowd gathered on the street. A young man lay in the middle, surrounded by a man and two women. River Phoenix, Aaron looked closely and was shocked to see the unconscious figure lying on the ground, none other than actor River Phoenix. Aaron walked over, looked at the man lying on the ground, frowned, and then glanced at the grieving people. "What's wrong with him? Did they call an ambulance?" He then ordered his bodyguards, "Disperse the crowd. They're blocking the road." Mr. Anderson, Joaquin Phoenix was a man after all, and he could handle it better. "Brother, for some reason, just now in the bar, he started convulsing, vomiting, and shaking. I was going to take him home, but after we came out, he couldn't hold on and collapsed. I've called the emergency number." At this moment, River Phoenix, lying on the ground, was as pale as paper and foaming at the mouth. A bodyguard came forward to check on him and said, he must be taken to the hospital as soon as possible. Aaron knew that River Phoenix's life was full of alcohol and drugs. Judging from his appearance, it was obvious that he had consumed too much, triggering a physical reaction. After waiting for a few minutes, he saw the ambulance slowly approaching. Four Seasons Hotel Beverly Hills. Cameron Diaz emerged from under the covers and laid on Aaron's chest. "What's wrong? Was my performance not good enough?" Aaron smiled and reached out to stroke the girl's messy blonde hair. "No, I'm very satisfied. I was just thinking about River Phoenix and his group we just met at the Viper House. River Phoenix must be talented. After all, he won the Best Actor award at the Venice Film Festival at such a young age." Aaron had also worked with him before on My Own Private Idaho. Cameron Diaz blinked. "That's obviously an overdose. Something's wrong with her body." Cameron Diaz herself is a playful person who has tried everything, so she had a clear understanding of River Phoenix's situation. "I guess so. After all, young people in the entertainment industry are all pretty tough." Aaron was already familiar with the habits of River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, and Johnny Depp. Therefore, he wasn't particularly surprised by River Phoenix's drug overdose. He'd even signed a contract with Keanu Reeves during the filming of Speed. "Well, but River Phoenix looked pretty serious just now," Cameron Diaz said, a little frightened, running her fingers over Aaron's abs. "Maybe." Aaron stroked the girl's body. "I've gone to the crew of The Mask and will film well then. Hollywood is a place where it's easy for people to become famous overnight." "I see." Cameron Diaz accepted it humbly. "Aaron, will you come to me then?" Aaron smiled and looked at the sexy and beautiful Cameron Diaz. "I really like the enjoyment just now. When you join the crew, I will come to you if I have time. Anyway, The set is in Los Angeles. Cameron Diaz nodded charmingly. Really? Okay, I'll wait for you. Of course, you are very good. Aaron rubbed the girl. Okay, take a rest first. Aaron patted Cameron Diaz on the body. Aaron had pondered what had happened to River Phoenix, but he couldn't say he cared deeply. After all, Aaron hadn't even paid much attention to the child molestation allegations against Michael Jackson by Jordan Chandler's family, so how could he care less about a mere River Phoenix? The next day, upon returning to Dawn Pictures, Aaron read the news of River Phoenix's death. At 1:51 a.m. today, River Phoenix was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Resuscitation was not possible. What a shame, Aaron shook his head, leaning back in his chair. Last night was the last time he'd seen River Phoenix. Following Phoenix's death, many fans gathered outside the Viper House Club to mourn their idol. Viper House owner Johnny Depp, after a Halloween party, saw the fans outside the club and learned that his friend River Phoenix had passed away. Johnny Depp was stunned and heartbroken upon hearing the news, and immediately announced that he would close the Viper House Club for a week in mourning his friend. Numerous media outlets expressed their sorrow at the passing of the talented young actor River Phoenix. Phoenix's friends, including Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, and his family were undoubtedly the most heartbroken. Phoenix's family also released the news to reporters and specifically thanked Aaron Anderson for his assistance that night. Mr. Anderson instructed the bodyguards to disperse the crowd and allow the ambulance to arrive quickly. We are deeply grateful. Farewell. My concubine grossed over $5 million in North America and a staggering $30 million worldwide, achieving impressive results. However, the film also released alongside another Chinese-language film, The Joy Luck Club, a drama about Chinese immigrants in San Francisco directed by Chinese-American director Wang Ying, which also grossed over $30 million in North America. The Joy Luck Club, adapted from the novel of the same name by Chinese-American author Amy Tan, won a National Board of Review Award for Best Picture. Produced by Oliver Stone, the film was distributed by Disney's Hollywood Studios. Meanwhile, Jennifer Aniston, who had moved from New York to Los Angeles, had already joined the cast of Friends, produced by Dawn Television, preparing to star in the sitcom. Jennifer Aniston was deeply impressed by Aaron Anderson, whom she had met briefly before. However, she hadn't expected him to offer her a project so soon. Dawn Television was only established this year, and currently only has 2 series in production, Friends being one of them. Meanwhile, unlike Jennifer Aniston's ups and downs, Cameron Diaz, who had landed the lead role in The Mask, was brimming with excitement. She had followed her agent's advice to move from modeling to film, and after numerous auditions, she finally got her chance. Compared to the rewards she received, Cameron Diaz's efforts can be said to be insignificant. Chapter 232 Hollywood Salary. With the completion of Dawn's Burbank headquarters and the official opening of the 8-story Burbank Dawn building, along with the surrounding buildings, Dawn Group embarked on a new journey. Dawn Cinemas, Landmark Cinemas, AMC Cable, Dawn Studios, Dawn Home Entertainment, and more. In the Dawn Cinemas conference room, Aaron and a group of company executives discussed the next steps. AMC Cable will compete with TCM for classic film rights next year. Turner Broadcasting, while massive, isn't a concern. Neither party will make an unconditional offer. Dawn is not a CVC, and our cash flow is sufficient. Aaron's message was clear, a fight was possible. Furthermore, he felt that Turner Broadcasting, already holding the rights to over 2,000 films from MGM, wouldn't spend too much money competing with us for other companies' classic films. Aaron, I think we can put our brains into new films. Dawn's movies are very popular on TV stations. What's more, Dawn TV has already started producing TV series. Brad Gray pays more attention to new films and self-produced dramas. After all, Dawn was established late and has few film library resources, which are just the copyrights of some works of Heritage Entertainment that it had previously acquired. Aaron glanced at Jessica Parker, the financial officer, and asked, next year, if I want to acquire Orion or Samuel Gowan Pictures, can Dawn's funds support it? Orion and Samuel Gowan. Jessica Parker thought for a moment. Both of these companies have a library of thousands of films, and the price won't be low. However, Dawn is now well-funded. Although we spent more this year, our financial situation is quite good and our momentum is strong. Many banks and investment institutions are willing to provide us with funds. Aaron nodded. After Orion went bankrupt, it was taken over by the bank, But John Kruger of Metro Media Group injected another sum of money, and now Orion is still operating normally. It's just that Orion hasn't had any good works released in recent years. The sequel RoboCop 3, which invested $22 million to produce, was just released recently. It opened with only $4 million, and the reputation was a mess. Orion's creditors and other shareholders have now lost confidence in the company. As for Samuel Goldwyn Pictures, it faces a shortage of funds, hindering significant growth. After all, given the company's track record, Samuel Goldwyn Jr. struggles to convince investors. Dawn Pictures needs to acquire assets to expand its film library, which will contribute to the growth of AMC Cable. Furthermore, the library's revenue can be reflected not only in television broadcasts but also in video rentals, which offer long-term returns. Some time ago, China launched the world's first VCD player. Thanks to the development of a new image decoding chip, it can store both images and sound on a single disc, creating a VCD audio-visual product. Aaron is also seizing the opportunity before the advent of DVDs to acquire the film libraries of other film companies to enhance Dawn's resources. In a few years, once DVDs are released, the home entertainment market will explode. The production and distribution costs of films will skyrocket, and the price of film copyrights will rise accordingly. In his top-floor office at the Dawn building, Aaron leaned back in his chair, flipping through a horror film script called Garage Terror. It was a terrifying story about a sexy, beautiful female employee trapped in a dark underground parking garage by a security guard who had a crush on her. A thriller that blended screams, thrills, and a sexy beauty. It was a low-budget film specifically designed for Monica Bellucci, produced and distributed by Twilight Pictures. A short while later, Christiana Yerry arrived at Aaron's office. Victoria's Secret is holding a fashion show at the Plaza Hotel in New York, the day before Thanksgiving. I'll be there later this month. Aaron's private jet, the Gulfstream IV, had been delivered and was parked at the nearby Burbank Airport, making travel to New York much more convenient. Hey, is this Macaulay Culkin, Hollywood's most expensive child star? Christiana Yerry sat on Aaron's lap and glanced at the newspaper on the table, which contained news about Macaulay Culkin. Aaron glanced at her, touched Christiana Yerry's thigh, and kissed the girl on the cheek. Yes, that's him. His salary is already $8 million now. He's making that much for the family comedy Home Alone that he's currently filming. In fact, Macaulay Culkin's salary was only $110,000 when he was filming the first Home Alone movie. But his salary increased to $4.5 million for the sequel Home Alone 2 released last year, plus a 5% share of the North American box office profits. Macaulay Culkin's salary for this year's thriller Little Angels, directed by director Joseph Rubin, was $5 million, making him the most expensive child star ever. Christiana Yerry was shocked. That's incredible. He seems to be only 14 years old this year. Yes, 14 years old. Aaron knew that this was also Macaulay Culkin's last glory. Macaulay Culkin's parents are currently divorced and locked in a custody battle. Macaulay Culkin himself, due to family discord, developed alcohol and drug addiction at a young age, much like Drew Barrymore before him. Few Hollywood child stars, aside from Jodie Foster, have truly thrived, but Macaulay Culkin is making enough money now. After all, he's already making $8 million, while the current top salary in Hollywood is $15 million, with actors like Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Kevin Costner all in that league, making him one of the very best. Mel Gibson earned $10 million for last year's Lethal Weapon 3, and his salary for this year's The Gambler alongside Jodie Foster has also risen to $15 million. As for female stars, there are currently no actresses with a salary of tens of millions. Nicole Kidman has appeared in hits such as Ghost and Sleepless in Seattle, and her salary for starring in The Pelicans is only $4.5 million, which is already top tier. The highest paid female star now should be Jodie Foster. With the title of two-time Best Actress Oscar winner, plus the popularity of The Silence of the Lambs and A Few Good Men, her salary is at least $6 million. After all, Nicole Kidman is a foreigner, and it is difficult to compare her salary with American actors. If The Pelicans is successful again, Nicole Kidman's salary will definitely exceed $6 million. However, Jodie Foster's salary for starring in The Gambler this year is $8 million. Chapter 233 This Kind of Beauty. That evening, a Mazda RX-7 drove from Burbank to Pasadena, arriving at the Hilton Pasadena downtown. There, Aaron met with Samuel Gao and Jr. Aaron, you came to see me specifically. Is there something important? In the hotel bar, Samuel Gao and Jr. poured Aaron a glass of wine, looking puzzled. Aaron raised the glass, shook it, and then took a sip. Mr. Gowan, Don wants to acquire Samuel Gowan Films. Faced with Aaron's directness, Samuel Gowan Jr. wasn't surprised, simply shaking his head slightly. Aaron, I have no intention of selling the film company right now. Aaron smiled. Mr. Gowan, Don is only interested in acquiring Samuel Gowan's copyright library, but the Samuel Gowan brand is still yours. Samuel Gowan Films has nearly 800 feature films, plus some TV series resources. Don is willing to offer $120 million. Samuel Gowan Films contains many works produced by Samuel Gowan in the past, as well as Samuel Gowan Jr.'s own works, and some acquired film and television distribution rights. As one of the 3 founding members of MGM, Samuel Gowan may not be as famous as Louis B. Mayer, but he is also a well-known figure in Hollywood. Samuel Gowan looked at Aaron and said, "It seems that Don's cash flow is indeed sufficient. There was no other way. The blockbuster movies released by Don in recent years were really profitable. $120 million is too low, and I need to discuss it with the other shareholders." Samuel Gwynn's current operations were limited in scope. If a good price could be achieved while preserving the Samuel Gwynn brand, Samuel Gwynn Jr. wouldn't object, and the other shareholders would be willing as well. Aaron nodded, raising his glass and clinking it with the other party. He hadn't expected such a big deal to be finalized so quickly. He needed to give Samuel Gwynn Pictures some time to discuss the matter. Aaron remembered that both Samuel Gwynn Pictures and Orion Pictures would be acquired by MGM in the future, along with Carlock Pictures. After all, MGM would eventually own the copyrights to over 4,000 films. The copyright libraries of these 3 film companies, combined with United Artists, would offer over 3,000 titles. The majority of MGM's own copyright assets had been acquired by Ted Turner, and the majority of MGM's current copyright library consisted primarily of over 1,100 United Artists film and television copyrights. Aaron then drove to Salma Hayek's residence in the Sun Valley neighborhood of North Hollywood. Seeing Aaron Anderson after a long absence, Salma Hayek seemed incredibly excited. As she placed Aaron's coat, she asked, "How come you have time to come to my place this year?" Hayek not only starred in Allison Anderson's My Crazy Life and Dawn's action-adventure blockbuster, The Mask of Zorro, but also starred in the comedy Ace Ventura, set to be released next spring. These marked the beginnings of Hayek's Hollywood career. "I just had something to do in Pasadena, so I came to see you," Aaron said, rubbing his temples as he sat on the sofa. Tired, Salma Hayek cradled Aaron's head and began massaging it, her voluptuous 30-60 breasts pressed against his head. Aaron smiled and leaned into Hayek's arms. A videotape of a movie was playing on the TV, and the conversation was in Spanish. "Is it a Mexican movie?" Aaron suddenly asked. No, it's a Spanish-language American independent neo-Western action film. It was indeed shot in Mexico. It's a low-budget film by Robert Rodriguez, a new director from San Antonio, Texas. And he only spent more than $7,000 to shoot this movie last year. And earlier this year it won the Audience Award in the feature film section of the 9th Sundance Film Festival, Salma Hayek said, kissing Aaron Anderson in her arms. "Columbia Pictures bought a movie, remade it, and then pushed it into the market. I heard it grossed more than $2 million, and the word of mouth is pretty good." Robert Rodriguez, Aaron looked at the movie again, is a bit like Quentin Tarantino, taking a new path of violence, and the soundtrack is good too. Yes. Maybe it's because Texas is close to Mexico, and this director has a better understanding of Mexico. The Legend of the Condor Heroes has been praised by many film critics. Salma Hayek herself is of Mexican Latina descent, so of course she would pay attention to this kind of work targeting Latinos. Aaron nodded, sat up, pulled Salma Hayek into his arms, feeling the girl's fullness. Although the movie is very alternative, this new type of Western action movie will have a specific audience group. There are not many Latino actors in Hollywood. This director's work is quite suitable for you. The half-dressed Salma Hayek half-leaned in Aaron's arms, unbuckled the man's belt, and reminded, "It seems that there is a Spanish drama film, The Lover of 4,000 Golds, about to be released. I heard that the reputation is pretty good. It won the Golden Bear Award at this year's Berlin Film Festival. The goal should be next year's Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film." Aaron, Xu Guang's Farewell My Concubine is the winner of the Cannes Palme d'Or. The lover of 4,000 golds should be the biggest competitor of Farewell My Concubine for the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. As for The Piano Lesson, it is originally an English film, and of course it will not participate in the selection of the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. It's okay, Aaron said, and then he lowered his head and kissed Salma Hayek in his arms. Aaron knew the movie The Golden Globes, mainly because when he was in Spain before, Aaron and the movie's star, the Spanish sexy girl Penelope Cruz, stayed in Madrid for a week. Not long after, Aaron and Salma Hayek came to the bathroom together, and the warm hot water rushed down and sprinkled on their heads. After a passionate kiss, Aaron hugged the sexy and plump Salma Hayek and smiled. "You are indeed the most beautiful woman in Mexico." Salma Hayek rubbed the man's chest. "You haven't come to see me for a long time. I thought you had forgotten me." "How could it be?" Aaron felt the girl's sexy 36D. "Who would be willing to give up a beauty like you?" Chapter 234, Running for Governor? In the morning, Salma Hayek's high-pitched scream broke the silence, and she hugged Aaron Anderson tightly. Aaron panted a few times, and just when he was about to turn over, he heard Salma Hayek's hoarse voice underneath him. "Well, Aaron, don't get down yet." Aaron smiled and said, "It's getting late, aren't you going to get up yet?" Salma Hayek kissed Aaron on the lips. "It will be fine in a while. You must be hungry." "Not bad. Lie down for a while." Aaron breathed out, lying on the girl's sexy body, feeling the fullness of her. A moment later, Aaron dismounted the woman. Salma Hayek, her arm around the man's waist, leaned against his broad chest. "You're amazing. The news is raving about one group. They say you're the next Louis B. Mayer and Howard Hughes combined." Aaron pouted. "Louis B. Mayer is understandable, but what's Howard Hughes?" "I'm not from a wealthy family," Salma Hayek smiled. "Because you're constantly involved in scandals. Even beautiful young and sexy Hollywood actresses are involved with you." "Okay." Angel Security's headquarters were located in eastern Texas, near Louisiana. Jack Wells had just returned to his office from training when a visitor arrived. "Who's visiting?" "George Bush Jr., the eldest son of former President George W. Bush." Jack Wells didn't know why the visitor wanted to see him, but he knew he had to go and see him first. The next day, Jack Wells flew directly back to Los Angeles. That afternoon, at the Angel Theater in West Hollywood, Aaron rushed over after receiving a call. "What's going on?" "Yesterday, I met someone I thought might interest you." "Who?" "George Bush Jr., son of our former President George W. Bush. He's planning to run for governor of Texas next year and wants your support." Aaron Anderson is now the owner of the Houston Rockets, a Hollywood tycoon, and a bona fide billionaire. Bush Jr., Aaron was intrigued. Running for governor of Texas was intriguing. "He actually found you." Jack Wells spread his hands. "My relationship with you is no secret, and I'm also working for the Houston Rockets." Now George Bush Jr. is a shareholder and co-owner of the Texas Rangers in the MLB Baseball League, and he's involved in the team's management. The Bush family is one of the oldest oil families in Texas. Aaron smiled. "I can totally support it. Isn't it just money?" Jack Wells nodded. "If he is elected governor, he will give the Texas Police training contract to Angel Company. If possible, some training of the Texas National Guard is also possible." Aaron tapped his fingers on the table. Since Clinton came to power, in order to support his information superhighway plan, he has made substantial tax increases. The highest personal income tax has been raised from 31% to 39.6%, and the corporate income tax has been raised from 34% to 35%. Texas has always been a low-tax state. In the future, we may have more industries in Texas. It's great to fully support George Bush Jr. By the way, Jack Wells seemed to remember something. If you are interested, he can also sell you shares of the Texas Rangers and help you take charge of this baseball team. It's just that the performance of this baseball team in Arlington has not been very good for many years. However, Arlington is building a new baseball stadium, which will be delivered to the Texas Rangers for use next year. The Texas Rangers' original home stadium was Arlington Coliseum, but the newly constructed stadium is now named Arlington Ballpark. Aaron waved his hand. "How much does he own in the Texas Rangers?" "Just a small shareholder. I'm not interested in being a small shareholder in the club. I'd rather be a controlling shareholder." Since he wants to be governor, with his family's political connections, it's a good possibility. "We can be generous with the funding." "Okay, I understand." Jack Wells spent a lot of time in Texas now, and there was nothing wrong with being a supporter of the Bush family. Then, Jack Wells sighed. The retirement of Michael Jordan, the league's top player, is a huge loss for the NBA. Attendance and ratings are down, and the league's advertising and sponsorship have also been affected. Well, has it already been reflected? The NBA regular season has only been going on for 3 weeks. Aaron was aware of the impact of Michael Jordan's retirement, but he hadn't expected it to happen so quickly. Jack Wells smiled wryly. It really shows. Losing Michael Jordan is a huge loss for the NBA. That night, at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, Aaron attended a cocktail party and ran into Tom Rothman, president of Samuel Gowan Films. I never thought it would be Soo Gwang that wanted to acquire Samuel Gowan Films, Tom Rothman smiled. He had always assumed it would be one of the 6 major film groups. Aaron shrugged. Samuel Goldwyn Films merging with Tron is a good choice. What do you think? Tom Rothman raised his glass and clinked it with Aaron's, then changed the subject. I heard that Barry Diller has already offered $9.5 billion to Paramount Communications. I wonder if Mr. Summer Redstone of Viacom will continue to raise the price. Of course he will. Summer Redstone quickly facilitated the merger of Viacom and Blockbuster, simply because he was attracted by Blockbuster's huge cash flow. Aaron was very arbitrary. Given Summer Redstone's emphasis on the content field, he is determined to acquire Paramount. Tom Rothman was stunned for a moment. Aaron, it seems that you are more optimistic about Mr. Summer Redstone. Aaron turned his head and saw Harrison Ford not far away on the other side. The action movie, The Fugitive starring him this year achieved a good box office of $170 million in North America. Considering the international market, The Fugitive grossed $350 million worldwide. Just look at Speed, Cliffhanger, and The Mask of Zorro. They're all action films. It should be soon. We'll know who will take over Paramount soon, Aaron said, looking away. Whether it's Barry Diller or Summer Redstone, it won't be a problem for Suzuki. This was Aaron's confidence. Suzuki was no match for the Big Six studios in content production. Tom Rothman glanced at Aaron. Suzuki certainly had the confidence. Chapter 235 Have you ever had sex? After chatting with Tom Rothman, Aaron suddenly spotted David Lynch, an independent director he'd worked with early on. Furthermore, his partner at Propaganda Films, David Fincher, was a director Aaron favored. Aaron, long time no see, David Lynch said, hugging Aaron. It's been a while, Aaron smiled. David Lynch hasn't released much in the past few years. Last year's Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me was a sequel to Twin Peaks. Is Fincher still working on the script for Seven? Aaron inquired. After all, David Fincher was now a partner at Propaganda Films, so he should understand. Yes, he really likes the script for Seven. That's good. Seven should be released at least the year after next, Aaron said, promising David Fincher the autonomy he deserved. Of course, that wasn't empty talk. David Lynch glanced at Aaron and suddenly asked, Aaron, there's a Disney script I'm curious about. It's one that producers Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer are interested in, and they've got one of our commercials director, Michael Bay, but Disney doesn't seem too keen on making this movie. Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer are a renowned Hollywood production duo, having previously signed a partnership with Paramount. But this year, they ended their relationship and switched to Disney. Aaron seemed to understand. Is Disney interested because the director is new, or is it was Michael Bay? He hadn't expected this guy to also be shooting commercials at Propaganda Films. Isn't that the same experience David Fincher had? Propaganda Films, are they full of talent? David Lynch, David Fincher, and now Michael Bay. Aaron's gaze on David Lynch quickly took on a different look. All of them, right? Michael Bay is only 29 years old now. He used to shoot commercials and received some good reviews. Otherwise, Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer would not have chosen him as the director. David Lynch took a sip of wine. As for the script, it is a gun battle action movie called Bad Boys. The protagonists are 2 black people. There are many swearing scenes. Disney is reluctant to shoot it because of this factor. Aaron nodded, with no change on his face. I will take a look at the script first. If it is suitable, Don will buy the script from Disney and support Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer to develop this project. In his heart, Aaron had already guessed that this movie was Bad Boys. The director was Michael Bay and the protagonists were 2 black people. Aaron immediately thought of Will Smith, who was still singing and acting in TV series. Will Smith, Aaron muttered to himself before heading to the lounge area of the reception. He immediately called his assistant, Esther Beckett, to arrange a meeting with Disney, Don Simpson, and Jerry Bruckheimer to acquire the script for Bad Boys. Oh, by the way, I remember there's a comic called Men in Black, about aliens. Go get someone to buy the rights to adapt it." Thinking of Will Smith, he decided the sci-fi film starring him, Men in Black, was a must-see. After hanging up, Aaron reflected, the biggest box office hits are still action films, but this year, with the popularity of Jurassic Park, there's going to be an increase in special effects-heavy blockbusters. The future of commercial films will likely be dominated by action and special effects-heavy films. 20th Century Fox's sci-fi action blockbuster True Lies, directed by James Cameron and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, cost $115 million to produce this year. This surpasses the production cost of James Cameron's Terminator 2, Judgment Day, released 2 years ago, and is currently the most expensive Hollywood production. After leaving the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, Aaron drove to Kate Beckinsale's West Hollywood apartment. "Well, what brought you here?" Kate Beckinsale was delighted to see Aaron Anderson arrive. "I missed you." Aaron hugged the girl and kissed her. Soon, the two fell on the sofa. Kate Beckinsale hugged the man on her and responded enthusiastically for a while. "Aaron, Nancy Josephson of ICM has signed a contract with me. Now I have a Hollywood agency." Well, Nancy Josephson is the daughter of Marvin Josephson, the founder of ICM. ICM is very focused on the international market. Although it is not as good as CAA, it and WMA are the top Hollywood agencies after CAA. Aaron lay on Kate Beckinsale, feeling the girl's softness. Legends of the Phoenix is about to start shooting anyway, and it is your Hollywood debut? There's nothing wrong with ICM signing you. What's more, Aaron and Nancy Josephson have some friendship. ICM played a big role in acquiring the Silence of the Lambs from Orion. Kate Beckinsale smiled, letting the man caress her. "Well, my agent has reminded me to. I just need to take Dawn's film, Legends of the Fall, seriously. By then, after the movie comes out, I shouldn't be short of Hollywood scripts. After all, there are plenty of examples of British actresses, like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Elizabeth Hurley. Aaron Anderson's work is a boon for newcomers, always making them famous." With that, Kate Beckinsale threw her arms around the man's neck and kissed him, their lips and tongues entwined in a fiery passion. Sensing his passion, Aaron quickly removed their clothes and, with a woman's cooperation, carried Kate Beckinsale into the bedroom. "I ran into Elizabeth Hurley at ICM the other day," Kate Beckinsale said, looking down at Aaron with a somewhat excited expression. "Oh, did you know each other before?" Aaron, who was lying on the bed, smiled and held the girl's waist. "She debuted much earlier than you." "Well, we didn't know each other before, but we got to know each other after our last meeting." Kate Beckinsale leaned over and kissed the man on the lips. "Anyway, I heard that you guys know each other too, right?" "Huh. The Forrest Gump she filmed this year was produced by Dawn Pictures." "Oh, is that all?" Kate Beckinsale leaned close to Aaron's ear. "You haven't slept with each other, guess." Chapter 236, A Beauty with Oriental Charm. Kate Beckinsale already possesses a unique blend of Eastern beauty, and at just 21, she's even more youthful. Aaron has always preferred actresses with Eastern charm to those with purely Western looks. Sophie Marceau, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Winona Ryder all share this sensibility, and now there's Kate Beckinsale. One morning, Aaron woke to find Kate Beckinsale already up and preparing breakfast. She was wearing a white men's shirt. Her short, sleek hair gave her a sharp look, and her long, white legs were even more striking beneath the shirt. "Honey, so early." Arriving in the kitchen, Aaron embraced her from behind, kissed her cheek, and reached into her shirt buttons. Yet, Kate Beckinsale turned and kissed the man behind her, pressing her whole body against Aaron's chest. "Don't worry, we'll be ready to eat once the eggs and sausage are done. I'm not in a hurry." Aaron smiled, teasing the beauty in his arms for a moment, then walked away when her breathing became more rapid. "Okay, let's go have breakfast." Kate Beckinsale gave Aaron a complaining look and followed suit with a plate. After breakfast, Aaron sat on the sofa, hugging the sexy Kate Beckinsale. "Are you getting used to America?" "Not bad. I spent some time in Paris alone this year, so I'm adapting pretty well," Kate Beckinsale said, nuzzling Aaron's cheek. "You, on the other hand, I've noticed a lot of rumors about you since I came to America, from Australia, France, the UK, and the US." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Hey, aren't those just random things in the newspapers? There should also be rumors about Mexico, Spain, and Brazil, right? Although Christiana Aguirre is now French, she's still Brazilian French." Meanwhile, Dawn Pictures quickly acquired the rights to the comic book Men in Black and prepared to develop it. When they contacted Disney through producers Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer about taking over the script for Bad Boys, Disney offered a now astronomical price. $3 million. Aaron, sitting in his office at Dawn Pictures, smiled as he listened to Thuring Beckett's report. $3 million for an original screenplay is undoubtedly a top-tier price these days. The script for Bad Instincts was already at that level. Agree to Disney's price, Aaron said, waving his hand. Will Smith, the lead actor in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, has great comedic talent. I recommend him. Also, Salma Hayek, who performed very well in Ace Toy Story, is Mexican Latina. Bad Boys is set in Miami, so let's have her play the female character. Esther Beckett nodded. Sure enough, her boss had a complete vision before going to Disney to buy the script. This way, Bad Boys could save a lot of time in preparation, and it might even be released as early as the end of next year. Is $3 million expensive? Of course it is, but the script is definitely worth it, with Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer's support. As for Salma Hayek, Aaron felt that she was truly serious about acting, had good acting skills, a sexy and alluring figure, and a beautiful appearance that could be cultivated. Aaron actually thought Penelope Cruz from Spain would also be a good choice, as she was also a sexy Latina beauty. However, Penelope Cruz was still in Spain and hadn't come to Hollywood. Just before Thanksgiving 1993, Joe Roth, chairman of 20th Century Fox Film Group, resigned. A CAA client, Joe Roth had originally planned to form his own independent film company. But after lobbying by Michael Ovitz, he decided to join Disney and take charge of Disney's live-action films. After all, Disney chairman and CEO Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, head of Disney Animation Studios, were at loggerheads, and Michael Eisner wanted Joe Roth to replace Katzenberg. Furthermore, Katzenberg was bypassing Disney Animation chairman Roy Disney and issuing orders directly to the animation department, which displeased Roy Disney, a Disney board member. However, the more significant news in Hollywood was Viacom's $10.7 billion bid for Paramount Communications. This was over $1 billion more than Barry Diller's QVC bid, which he subsequently withdrew from the competition. With this, Summer Redstone's Viacom had acquired Paramount Communications for $10.7 billion, acquiring Paramount Entertainment, Simon & Schuster, MSG, and 50% of USA Cable. Universal parent company MCA owned the other half. Summer Redstone threw a grand, lavish Hollywood-style party at the Bel Air Hotel in Beverly Hills. Over 300 people attended, including entrepreneurs, politicians, bankers, studio executives, Hollywood stars, and members of the media. Aaron had brought along Monica Bellucci, who was promoting the film, The Philadelphia Story, due to be released in December. Oh, Mr. Buss, what a coincidence, Aaron said, hugging Monica Bellucci. He hadn't expected to run into Jerry Buss. Jerry Buss smiled. Aaron, Mr. Redstone is now considered the owner of the New York Knicks. The three of us now share the same identity. Aaron slapped his forehead. I almost forgot. The New York Knicks are part of MSG Group. The most valuable clubs in the league right now are the Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Knicks are now a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference, on par with the Houston Rockets in the West, but the Lakers seem like a dud now. Recently, another NBA club trade has gone through. Michael Jordan's retirement has had a significant impact on the NBA, Jerry Buss sighed. Of course Aaron knew about this. After all, the deal that just closed was with the San Antonio Spurs, a Texas team. Businessman Pete Holt, along with 22 investors, acquired the San Antonio Spurs for $75 million. Aaron smiled. The Lakers' performance isn't great right now, and I heard the Lakers and Johnson's contract are only halfway through. Back then, Jerry Buss shocked the league by signing Magic Johnson to a massive 25-year, $25 million contract. Who could have imagined Johnson retiring last year due to AIDS? And now, the Lakers have to keep paying him his contract salary. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237 I Have to Admire You. This season, the NBA's salary cap is $15 million, and Johnson's remaining contract will inevitably take up some of that cap space. However, Aaron felt that Jerry Buss would definitely have a plan. After chatting with Jerry Buss for a while, Aaron also met tonight's protagonist, Summer Redstone. Aaron had to admire the man for acquiring Paramount at the age of 70. The Redstone family's National Amusements was essentially a movie theater chain, but in 1986, it swallowed up Viacom and became a media tycoon. Aaron, Michael Ovitz suddenly appeared beside Aaron. Mr. Ovitz, good evening. Michael Ovitz nodded. I heard you're acquiring Samuel Goldwyn Films. Yes, Sugan previously acquired AMC cable network and needs a film library. Also, Sugan's current distribution system requires a film library to support it. Aaron didn't hide anything. After all, this was a normal strategy. Michael Ovitz sighed. Seeing his former subordinate achieve such remarkable success only intensified his desire to run a film company. Giant agencies like CAA and ICM, unable to engage in production due to antitrust laws, always felt a lack of something. It seems you made the right decision to leave CAA. Michael Ovitz had just recommended Joe Roth, the head of 20th Century Fox, for Disney. However, Michael Eisner, a longtime friend, also wanted him to join Disney to replace Jeffrey Katzenberg, but the specific position hadn't been decided yet. CAA isn't bad either. It's the largest agency in Hollywood now. Aaron smiled. Besides, Michael Ovitz had been named the most powerful person in Hollywood by Premiere magazine for 3 consecutive years. Michael Ovitz waved his hand. CAA's annual profits are less than one of your films. Then, Aaron took Monica Bellucci to the balcony of the ballroom for some fresh air. The preview screening of Philadelphia got very good feedback. Have you read the script for Garage Terror? Aaron lit a cigarette and took a puff. Yes, Monica Bellucci said, kissing Aaron on the cheek. I've read the script. The scenes aren't too complicated. Should be quick to shoot, right? Aaron nodded. Well, the scenes are pretty simple overall. We'll just shoot in the parking lot below the Shugwang building. There aren't many scenes and actors, but you're the only bright spot on the show. Garage Terror is a low-budget thriller, a sexy and hot beauty paired with a perverted security guard, one on the run, the other on the chase. Blood, darkness, and big breasts. It's the standard horror movie format. I've spent a lot of time this year learning English and taking acting classes, so I should be able to meet the director's requirements. Don't worry, because Viacom first acquired Blockbuster for $8.7 billion, and then borrowed money from the bank to acquire Paramount Communications Group. As a result, the debt of the entire Viacom group is now rising. What Summer Redstone has to do next is to sell some assets to reduce the debt. As the first media tycoon to propose content is king, Summer Redstone's emphasis on Paramount is self-evident. Afterward, before an audience of over 300, Summer Redstone delivered a stirring speech. My goal is to be number one, so I want everything I do to be number one. I'm not saying I can, or that I should be. I'm just saying I like being number one. With the acquisition of Viacom, only Disney and MGM remain independent of the 7 major Hollywood studios. While Disney boasts its own children's cable network, record label, theme parks, live-action and animated film studios, and international distribution network, MGM is now a shaky existence, having nearly been dismantled by Credit Line. In the hotel lounge, Summer Redstone questioned Paramount Pictures chairman Sherry Lansing about Dawn Films. Dawning? Aaron Anderson, the founder of Dawning, is a Hollywood golden boy. He first worked as an agent at CAA, then he discovered some new directors such as Steven Soderbergh and David Fincher, and made a name for himself in the independent film circle. After that, he formed Dawning and supported the black director John Singleton to develop the hit Ghost. His stroke of genius was to acquire the thriller The Silence of the Lambs from Orion, which won an Oscar. Shirley Lansing admired Aaron's accurate vision very much. Later, Paramount also bought the Addams Family from Orion and achieved success, but ICM Nancy Josephson heard that Aaron Anderson was also optimistic about this movie, but he lacked funds and could only buy one, so he chose the cheap The Silence of the Lambs. Summer Redstone smiled. I've heard of the reputation of Hollywood's golden boy. Aaron Anderson's vision for films is unmatched. The fact that Dawn has grown to this size in just 4 years is a testament to his ability. He glanced at Sherry Lansing. Is it possible to acquire Dawn Films? As expected, Sherry Lansing had guessed it for a company that champions content. They definitely want to own Dawn. Unfortunately, Sherry Lansing shook her head. Disney, 20th Century Fox, Sony, and others are all interested in Dawn, but Aaron Anderson has no intention of selling Dawn. Okay, Summer Redstone admitted. But having just acquired Paramount, he didn't have much time to focus on Dawn. Viacom needed to quickly leverage Paramount's content resources. With its powerful distribution capabilities, Viacom needed a high-quality content provider like Paramount. Furthermore, with 70-year-old Summer Redstone no longer having the energy to engage in frontline production, Paramount was primarily run by Sherry Lansing, whose primary responsibility was to steer the broader direction of cable television and the integration of premium film studios. As the only female helmsman of a major Hollywood film company, Sherry Lansing was inherently cautious. She preferred to co-invest with other film companies to share risk, which was somewhat unusual, considering the limited collaborative projects between the 6 major Hollywood studios. Chapter 238 Representative of the American Main Theme. That evening, in the study of the villa in Bel Air, Jack Wells called Aaron in Austin and told him something about George W. Bush's campaign for governor. Give it your all, the Bush family is quite powerful in Texas, Aaron certainly wouldn't object. By the way, the demolition of the Dawn Sports Center in Houston has begun, and it's estimated that construction will officially begin in March next year. It's expected to be completed before the start of the NBA regular season the year after. Aaron leaned back in his chair. A year and a half of construction time is about enough, and the total budget of $250 million is acceptable. After the Houston Dawn Center is completed, it will probably be the most expensive and luxurious stadium in the NBA. Before Thanksgiving, Aaron came to New York from Los Angeles to attend the annual lingerie show hosted by Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret combines fashion with lingerie, using the media to create an image of confident and sexy women, which is a marketing model to promote the Victoria's Secret brand. At the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, New York, Aaron and Christiana Yerry watched the voluptuous models clad in Victoria's Secret lingerie strut down the runway, completely captivated by the audience. The media, recklessly capturing the film, captured one voluptuous woman after another under the spotlight. This Victoria's Secret show featured 2 of the world's top 5 supermodels, Cindy Crawford and Linda Evangelista. The buzz surrounding the Victoria's Secret show is absolutely fantastic advertising, said Charles Johnson, chairman of the Franklin Templeton Foundation, as he clinked glasses with Aaron at the banquet. With so much buzz, sales are bound to surge. Aaron took a sip of his wine. From now on, the Victoria's Secret fashion show will be an annual event. Starting next year, I'll have AMC broadcast it. Victoria's Secret will become the undisputed king of lingerie brands, Charles Johnson nodded. We'll also launch a separate Victoria's Secret brand as soon as possible, then let's have a drink. Sure enough, the Victoria's Secret fashion show was widely reported the next day. Although many conservatives oppose this kind of lingerie fashion show, the popularity of the Victoria's Secret fashion show was undeniable. Christiana Yerry quickly led the models into the Victoria's Secret promotional event. At a villa on Manhattan's Upper East Side, Sophie Marceau rushed over from Long Island. You're quite creative. You even came up with an annual lingerie show, costing millions of dollars. Sophie Marceau had previously filmed a series of lingerie commercials specifically for Victoria's Secret, showcasing their sexy and alluring looks. Well, isn't it good? Aaron hugged the girl and sat on the sofa. Not only that, I've also had people train exclusive Victoria's Secret models, calling them Victoria's Secret Angels. At that time, the Victoria's Secret show will also wear their own wings. My goal is to make the Victoria's Secret show an annual, highly anticipated fashion show. Of course, these were all Aaron's suggestions for Christiana Yerry, deeply binding her modeling agency with Victoria's Secret. By the way, I heard you went to Mexico to film a movie, Aaron asked, kissing the girl on the mouth. Yes, it's an action movie, mainly filmed in Mexico City. It's The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, because it was to be filmed in Colombia, but the situation over there is unstable. So Mexico City was used instead of Bogota, Sophie Marceau said as she hugged the man's neck and rubbed it. Now, I seem to have become a vase again. Aaron stroked the girl in his arms. The Fugitive, a Paramount production. Harrison Ford is now an American action superstar, especially this kind of American mainstream work. Harrison Ford today is a representative figure in this regard. Patriot Games released last year, The Fugitive this year, and The Fugitive next year. After all, this is also an action movie, and actresses generally play a decorative role. Aaron smiled. Sophie Marceau was somewhat helpless. After the release of 4 Weddings and a Funeral, I received the most scripts for romance films. Filmmakers in Europe and Hollywood still want me to star in romance films. Well, you are so beautiful. It is very suitable for you, Aaron said and kissed the girl. His hand also slipped into her collar. Well, Sophie Marceau responded to the man's kiss enthusiastically. After the kiss, Sophie Marceau lay half-dressed in the man's arms. I'm actually hoping to take on some literary work, the kind with an exciting storyline, focusing on a plot. Don't worry, I'll let you know when I come across a good script, Aaron said, kissing the woman's face. You're already doing really well with this kind of script. A commercial film can quickly increase your influence and visibility. Independent films are too difficult. After all, discovering a good independent film is incredibly difficult. With the end of Thanksgiving, Dawn Studios officially began filming The Mask, based on the Dark Horse comic of the same name, at Dawn Studios in Los Angeles. The budget was $23 million. The lead roles were played by comedian Jim Carrey and sexy blonde newcomer Cameron Diaz. Meanwhile, Edward Zwick's Legends of the Fallen was officially finalized and rehearsals began. Starring Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, and Kate Beckinsale, the film also participated. Although some had hoped to cast Tom Cruise and Sean Connery in Legends of the Fallen, the budget was limited to $35 million, making it unlikely. Furthermore, Aaron was also optimistic about the pairing of Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. After all, Anthony Hopkins' impressive performances in The Silence of the Lambs and The Mask of Zorro were still fresh in people's minds. Brad Pitt had also showcased his acting prowess in A River Runs Through It and this year's Interview with a Vampire. In Dawn's office in New York, Aaron leaned back in his chair and was talking on the phone with Esther Beckett in Los Angeles. How are the preparations for Bad Boys going? It's going well. If nothing goes wrong, we can start shooting in Miami next spring. Well, as soon as possible. By the way, it seems that Jim Carrey has signed a film contract with New Line Cinema to shoot a low-cost comedy film, Dumb and Dumber. Interesting, doesn't this mean that he may have 3 movies to be released next year? Aaron knocked on the table. New Line Cinema's vision seems to be pretty good. Chapter 239 You can have some dessert. Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura is slated for a spring release next year, while the currently filming The Mask is slated for a fall release. New Line Cinema has also cast Jim Carrey in a new film, likely slated for release at the end of next year. Aaron, aren't you leaving yet? Sophie Marceau entered Aaron's office. Yeah, sure. Aaron stood up and stretched. Tonight, he and Sophie Marceau were going to a restaurant on the Hudson River. Let's go, Sophie Marceau said, helping Aaron put on his coat. Soon, Aaron and Sophie Marceau arrived at the Hollow Valley restaurant on the Hudson River in a new Lamborghini Diablo VT. They could enjoy delicious food and a view of the lake. They casually chatted about the comedy MRS. Doubtfire, which was released over Thanksgiving. Well, I know 20th Century Fox just released the comedy Mrs. Doubtfire, which grossed $20 million in its first weekend, plus it's got great reviews, and this family comedy starring Robin Williams only cost $25 million to make. It's clear this movie is going to be a huge hit for 20th Century Fox. Robin Williams, he's probably the best comedian in Hollywood right now, Sophie Marceau smiled. Late last year, Disney released the hit animated feature Aladdin, also voiced by Robin Williams. This year, it broke records in VHS sales, selling 24 million copies, nearly $500 million in revenue. More importantly, Aladdin grossed $214 million in North America and over $500 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing animated feature of all time. Robin Williams, he's pretty good, Aaron conceded, but next year, the king of comedy, Jim Carrey, will emerge. Is Dawn developing an animated film? Aaron nodded. Pixar, which I acquired a while ago, is developing the first 3D computer animated feature film, Toy Story. It's expected to be released the year after next. Aaron was actually very jealous of Disney's animated feature film, The Lion King, which will be released next year. It truly represents the pinnacle of 2D hand-drawn animation. In the evening, Aaron and Sophie Marceau went to a bar on Greenwich Street to have fun and experience the New York nightlife. Honey, are you going back to France for Christmas? Aaron suddenly asked Sophie Marceau on the dance floor, hugging her. Sophie Marceau clung to the man. We're going back. Why, you want to come back with me? Aaron smiled and kissed him. I can't say for sure. There might be other things, you know, Hollywood's got a lot going on right now. Well, Shu Guang does have quite a few projects on the slate, Sophie Marceau said, wrapping her arm around the man's neck. When you have time, let's go to the Mediterranean for a few days to relax, okay? Meanwhile, the cast and crew of the Miramax-funded drama MRS. Parker's Lover had also arrived at the bar. Producer Harvey Weinstein, along with actresses Jennifer Jason Leigh and Gwyneth Paltrow, were sitting on the sofa drinking. This year, after Miramax's acquisition by Disney, while losing some of its decision-making power, the financial backing of Disney and the company's continued independence were considered good news for the Weinstein brothers. After all, Harvey Weinstein's reckless film purchasing had left Miramax deeply in debt. Harvey Weinstein, holding the alluring Jennifer Jason Leigh and the voluptuous Gwyneth Paltrow in his arms, said, "I've seen the positive reviews from previews for M.R.S. Parker's Lover, and many critics have given it high scores. When the film comes out next year, it's sure to win awards at some awards shows, and even have a shot at an Oscar." Mrs. Parker's Lover is an American biographical film set in the 1920s, at the Alkin Round Table Club, a gathering of American intellectuals. It depicts the relationship between legendary American writer Dorothy Parker and the people around her. Jennifer Jason Leigh and Gwyneth Paltrow are the film's two main actors, both of whom come from acting families. Compared to the younger Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Jason Leigh is already 32 years old. Although she's been in the industry for many years, she only gained attention with her powerful performance in 1989's Brooklyn Streets. Moreover, when it comes to family advantages, Jennifer Jason Leigh certainly can't compare to Gwyneth Paltrow's. With Harvey Weinstein's arm around her shoulders, Jennifer Jason Leigh simply smiled awkwardly and poured him a glass of wine. Mr. Weinstein, let's celebrate. Gwyneth Paltrow similarly raised her glass and clinked it. She'd only been in the industry for a few years, and while she'd appeared in several films, her roles weren't substantial, and she wasn't widely known. Furthermore, she had signed a 3-film deal with Miramax, with Mrs. Parker's Lover being the first. Mr. Weinstein, I need to use the restroom first, Gwyneth Paltrow said, standing up. She understood Harvey Weinstein's intentions perfectly, but since she was only in a supporting role in a film, it was too early for him to make any moves. After arriving in the restroom, Gwyneth Paltrow smoked a cigarette. As she left, she suddenly saw a familiar face in the hallway. "Hi, Mr. Anderson, good evening." Aaron had just washed his face and was about to return to his seat when he heard someone calling him. He turned around and said, "Oh, it's Gwen. Good evening, are you here for fun too?" Gwyneth Paltrow nodded and took the man's arm. "I just starred in a movie and I'm here with the crew. Let's go dancing." Anyway, regardless of whether the other party agreed or not, Gwyneth Paltrow directly pulled Aaron Anderson onto the dance floor. "Hey." Aaron was pulled onto the dance floor by Gwyneth Paltrow and quickly felt her tenderness and comfort. After a passionate kiss, Gwyneth Paltrow sensed the change in little Aaron and whispered seductively to him, "I keep hearing Winona praise you, I want to give it a try." Aaron looked at the dazed Gwyneth Paltrow in his arms, reached through the buttons of her shirt and stroked her. "You can have some dessert tonight." Chapter 240. Thousands of film libraries. Where have you been? Why did it take so long? Sophie Marceau noticed Aaron had been in the restroom for over half an hour. "Nothing, just ran into someone I know and chatted for a bit." Aaron leaned back on the sofa and patted Sophie Marceau. Just now, Aaron had given Gwyneth Paltrow a lot of dessert while he was in the restroom. Next, when filming begins on Dawn 7, Aaron will cast Gwyneth Paltrow in a female role. Since he's enjoyed her service, he'll definitely give her something in return. "It's a woman, right?" Aaron smiled. "You know Miramax, the Hollywood independent film company that often acquires films at the Cannes and Venice film festivals in recent years. It's a movie released by Miramax. Several of the main creators came here for fun tonight and met us." Sophie Marceau nodded. "I know, it's the Weinstein brothers you mentioned before. You told me to be careful about working with them." "Yes, Miramax was acquired by Disney this year. I guess in the future, the number of films released will be even greater." Anyway, Aaron's eyes should be on those famous independent films. Those other non-mainstream films can't make much money. It's not as good as your Dawn. Sophie Marceau leaned back on the sofa. "That French film, Blue, also opened in the US and seems to have received good reviews. What do you think?" "It's very artistic. It depends on how well Miramax, the distributor, promotes it. After all, it won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival. However, Blue still pales in comparison to the Cannes Film Festival's Palme d'Or winning the piano. After all, it's French, and even compared to the Chinese-language Farewell My Concubine, it's not up to par. It probably won't win Best Foreign Language Film." However, Juliette Binoche, the lead actress in Blue, gave a performance as excellent as ever. Dawn had previously distributed the R-rated drama The Lovers, starring Binoche, whose performance was incredibly powerful. Sophie Marceau shook her head. I shouldn't be talking to you about French art films like this. You're more interested in commercial films. Luc Besson's Léon, The Professional, directed for Gaumont. Would you be interested? So what? Luc Besson currently has a cooperation agreement with Gaumont and Columbia, Aaron said, leaning over to kiss Sophie Marceau on the cheek. He caressed the woman's thigh. I've also seen Luc Besson's Léon, The Professional, and I think it's quite good. Perhaps it wouldn't be too commercial in Hollywood. After all, it involves the emotional portrayal of an underage girl. Overall, the artistic quality of Léon, The Professional is quite good. Luc Besson perfectly combines the romantic and delicate narrative style of French cinema with the Hollywood gunfight genre. It can be said that he has achieved a perfect fusion of art with popular appeal and commercialism, and his directorial personality is distinct. Relatively speaking, Luc Besson eschews the stereotypical Hollywood commercial approach of flashy packaging but hollow substance, making this film even more profound. Let's wait and see how it performs after it's released, Sophie Marceau said, knowing Hollywood well. French art films are simply not well received there. To the French film industry, Hollywood is commercialized and conservative. Compared to the independence, boldness, and distinct individuality of French films, Hollywood films are simply products of money. With the arrival of December, a slew of award-winning films are being released. Dawn's feature film The Philadelphia Story also premiered at the landmark ArcLight Theater, marking a small-scale release. At the premiere party for The Philadelphia Story at the Sunset Marcus Hotel in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, Aaron and director Jonathan Demme were discussing the project Red Dragon, The Silence of the Lambs. Besides Anthony Hopkins reprising his role as Hannibal, are the other actors confirmed? Aaron asked, mentioning the lead FBI agent and the murderous Tooth Fairy, two key characters. As for the killer, I'm optimistic about British actor Ralph Fiennes. His portrayal of a Nazi officer in Schindler's List was very captivating. As for the FBI agent, I'm more optimistic about Nicolas Cage. After hearing Jonathan Demme's opinion, Aaron thought for a moment and decided that Ralph Fiennes should have no problem playing the killer. As for Nicolas Cage, he seemed to be a good choice as an FBI agent. Nicolas Cage has appeared in many films in recent years. Although most of them have not been very influential, Nicolas Cage's acting experience and acting skills are impeccable. It should be possible. Nicolas Cage's ability is unquestionable. Aaron stood up and patted the other man on the shoulder. Let's prepare the crew as soon as possible. The Silence of the Lambs prequel, Red Dragon, will be released in 1995. Compared to this prequel, Aaron hoped that author Thomas Harris would complete the sequel to the novel as soon as possible. Suddenly, Brad Gray, who had just received a call, came up to Aaron. Samuel Gwen Pictures has agreed to sell the Samuel Gwen film library for $140 million. Samuel Gwen Jr. is preserving the Samuel Gwen Films brand. $140 million, can't it be lowered? Aaron hesitated. Brad Gray shook his head. $140 million is their bottom line, go for it. Samuel Gwen Pictures has a lot of great films in their library. Aaron, having made up his mind, had no regrets. Aaron had originally planned to build a new skyscraper in Manhattan, New York, but it looked like he would have to postpone it. Okay, I'll close this deal with them as soon as possible. The copyrights to over 1,000 films would greatly benefit the development of Sugan Home Entertainment and further enhance Sugan's distribution system. Of course, for AMC Cable, these copyrights represented high-quality content, attracting subscribers. Aaron then thought of another company, Orion Pictures, which also held a library of thousands of films. Primarily, in the late 1980s, Orion acquired the rights to over 500 films from Picture Road Pictures, thus strengthening Orion Pictures' distribution network. Samuel Gwen Jr. is preserving the Samuel Gwen Pictures brand. Does this mean he plans to run it independently? Brad Gray nodded. While the details are unclear, since Samuel Gwen Jr. is preserving the eponymous film brand, he must have his own ideas. He wouldn't let Samuel Gwen Pictures simply disappear. Chapter 241. The pressure is increasing. At night, in Los Angeles, Aaron was waiting for someone outside the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in his Lexus LS 400. Moments later, the voluptuous Nicole Kidman opened the door and climbed in. Kidman said, hugging him and kissing him passionately. Okay, Aaron responded, embracing the graceful Nicole Kidman for a moment. We've got plenty of time. Nicole Kidman had just attended the premiere of The Pelicans, and Aaron had come to pick her up. Yet, the car drove straight along Hollywood Boulevard, and Aaron smiled and said, You're the Pelicans is pretty good, with a strong political thriller flavor. The commercial performance should not be bad. Nicole Kidman leaned back in her seat, mainly because there are too many scripts for romance films, so I want to try other types. Then, Aaron stretched out a hand and stroked the girl's slender white thigh. Your idea is very good. Trying more different roles will be very helpful to improve your acting skills. After arriving at a villa in Pacific Palisades in Santa Monica, Nicole Kidman informed Aaron that Warner Brothers is developing the third Batman, named Batman Forever. In the bathroom, Aaron lay in the tub with Nicole Kidman in his arms. Has the new director for Batman Forever been decided? The sequel, Batman Returns, although grossing $280 million worldwide, cost $85 million to produce, clearly failed to impress Warner Brothers. Consequently, Tim Burton, the director of the first two films, stepped down as producer. It's confirmed, it's Joel Schumacher, and Michael Keaton, who played the lead Batman in the first two films, is also starring in the third. The new Batman is Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman said, tilting her neck back and kissing the man. Warner Brothers wants Batman Forever to be more commercial. Tim Burton's style is too dark. Joel Schumacher, whose film City of Heroes was nominated for the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, was chosen by Warner Brothers to direct Batman Forever, presumably because they want it to be a purely commercial film. Aaron smiled and patted Nicole Kidman's body. Warner Brothers wants you to play the leading lady, right? Yes, Mr. Bob Daly of Warner Brothers asked me to do it. Bob Daly, co-CEO of Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group. Aaron nodded. Sony Pictures CEO Peter Guber will officially leave Sony next year. I guess he'll return to produce the Batman series. Back then, Sony Pictures poached Peter Guber and John Peters from Warner Brothers, but these two guys had caused Columbia TriStar to suffer significant losses. John Peters had been adamantly fired by Sony in 1991, and Sony had no plans to renew Peter Guber's contract. Are Columbia's losses serious? Nicole Kidman inquired. It's very serious. Ever since Sony acquired Columbia TriStar, they've given almost every film they develop a green light. American management here won't help the Japanese save costs. Sony headquarters has been providing financial support to Columbia TriStar. Aaron knew all about this. Just look at Panasonic's attitude toward MCA Universal. Just this year, they fired President Akio Tani and Executive Vice President and CFO Masahiko Hirata. And the new president, Yoichi Morishita, has been incredibly cold toward MCA. Is it simply because Panasonic is upset by Universal's losses? With the opening of the 1993 Golden Globe Awards nominees luncheon, the atmosphere in Los Angeles intensified. The Piano, The Philadelphia Story, and Farewell My Concubine all received their due nominations. And this time, two Chinese-language films were nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, Chen Cage's Farewell My Concubine and Ang Lee's The Wedding Banquet. Films released between January 1, 1993, and December 31, 1993, in the greater Los Angeles area, including Los Angeles, Orange, San Bernardino, Riverside, and Ventura counties in Southern California, are eligible for the award. Aaron had Crescent Films arrange a promotional event with the creators of Farewell My Concubine. Even a good film needs publicity. At the Wilshire Grand in Beverly Hills, in a room strewn with roses and filled with romance, Jennifer Connelly gazed delightedly at the heart-shaped heart on the bed. It was a birthday celebration Aaron had specially prepared for her. Do you like it? Aaron hugged the woman and kissed her on the cheek. Of course, it's so romantic. Jennifer Connelly was delighted, having just worked with Catherine Zeta-Jones on My Best Friend's Wedding. With that, she kissed Aaron passionately, their lips and tongues entwined in a fiery embrace. Okay, let's eat something first, Aaron said, having already prepared a candlelight dinner. Yet, Jennifer Connelly was delighted by the roses, the candlelight dinner, and the night view of Los Angeles. The Piano has quite a few Golden Globe nominations, including Best Picture, Drama, Best Director, Best Actress, Drama, Best Supporting Actress, Best Screenplay, and more. This year, Xu Guang's The Piano was even more successful than last year's The Crying Game, both in terms of critical acclaim and box office. Also, I heard Miramax really regrets not releasing The Crying Game last year, right? Aaron said, taking a sip of wine. But this year, Miramax seems to have high hopes for the French film Blue of the Blue. Blue of the Blue was also nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Golden Globe Awards, competing with Xu Guang's Farewell My Concubine. Harvey Weinstein bills himself as a pioneer in art films. Unfortunately, Don has grown too fast, its reputation rivaling that of the 7 established film studios. Miramax simply can't compete commercially. They can only focus on independent works of art like this. Jennifer Connelly, a top student at Yale and Stanford, has an extremely high IQ. She has a very clear view of many things. Besides, Miramax has now been acquired by Disney, and TBS has also acquired New Line Cinema and Castle Rock Entertainment. Large media groups have also set their sights on the independent film market. Aaron, the pressure on you will continue to increase. Chapter 242 MGM's Ace. In the early morning hours of a hotel bedroom, Aaron, lying in bed, was startled awake by a sudden sensation. He immediately reached out and stroked Jennifer Connelly's hair. A moment later, Jennifer Connelly moaned a few times, and Aaron exhaled a long sigh. "Aaron, do you like it?" Jennifer Connelly panted, emerging from the covers and slumped against his chest, her face flushed. Aaron caressed the woman in his arms. "It's absolutely wonderful." With Christmas approaching, Los Angeles was filled with festive cheer. Hollywood's awards season was even more bustling, with glamorous celebrities appearing at cocktail parties and parties. At the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills, Aaron attended a charity dinner and met Frank Marcuse, chairman of MGM, and John Culley, head of United Artists. "I heard MGM and United Artists are preparing to release a new generation of James Bond, right?" Aaron asked with a smile. It had been several years since the 16th Bond film, License to Kill, was released in 1989. John Culley nodded. "Aaron, you know that License to Kill wasn't a big box office hit due to copyright disputes. Plus, lead actor Timothy Dalton has decided not to play James Bond anymore, so we have to start over." The copyright to the 007 Inches series belonged to producer Albert Broccoli's EN Productions, while the distribution rights were held by United Artists. MGM's acquisition of United Artists naturally gave them the distribution rights to the 007 Inches series. This was similar to Don's ownership of The Hobbit. Don also owned the copyright, but MGM also held the distribution rights. Aaron shrugged. "Is Mr. Albert Broccoli ill?" John Culley nodded. Albert Broccoli was the exclusive producer of the 007 series. However, EN Productions is now run by Albert Broccoli's adopted son Michael Wilson and daughter Barbara Broccoli. Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli have also been following Albert Broccoli in the production of the 007 series. "We believe that the 17th 007 film will be able to meet the audience soon." John Culley is now indeed participating in the development of the 007 film series with Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. In addition to Pierce Brosnan, who has long been favored for the role of James Bond, other candidates include Liam Neeson, Mel Gibson, Sam Neill, Hugh Grant, Lambert Wilson and others. Aaron took a sip of his drink. MGM United Artists didn't really have any impressive productions right now, and their ace franchise, 007, was about to be rebooted. After chatting with John Culley for a while, Aaron ran into Tom Cruise again. Cruise Wagner Productions had already been established. Paula Wagner had also left CAA, transitioning from agent to film producer, overseeing the operations and management of Cruise Wagner Productions. "Hasn't the Mission Impossible TV adaptation started yet?" Aaron inquired. Tom Cruise shook his head. "They're still revising the script. It won't be that fast." "Do you have any scripts you're interested in?" "Not yet." "What's up, Aaron? Do you have any good projects?" Aaron nodded. "I have an idea for an action movie." "Are you interested?" "Action movies? Sure." Tom Cruise extended his hand. "Let's go over there and talk." "Yes." Aaron Anderson and Tom Cruise quickly joined the sofa in the lounge area. A young military officer accidentally killed a gangster because of his pregnant wife and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. His sentence finally ended that day, and he was about to go home to see his most beloved daughter. After obtaining the warden's permission, he boarded a plane carrying the most dangerous prisoners in the United States. Tom Cruise was stunned. "A plane with the most dangerous prisoners in the United States?" Aaron nodded. "Yes, in order to go back to see his daughter as soon as possible." The protagonist also boarded this plane specially designed to transfer dangerous prisoners. The plane was full of extremely dangerous and vicious prisoners. On the way, the prisoners killed the escorting police and took control of the plane. The protagonist joined forces with the remaining police and prisoners to engage in a life-and-death battle in the air. The name of the story is Con Air. Tom Cruise's eyes lit up. "Is there a complete script?" "Yes, I'll show it to you later." When it comes to the script of Con Air, Aaron's first thought of Kevin Costner. However, after their collaboration on The Mask of Zorro, Kevin Costner was too busy and no longer had any spare time. As for the film's former lead, Nicolas Cage, he was still just an art house actor, often appearing in art films, with limited commercial potential. After all, Nicolas Cage hadn't yet achieved widespread fame with his Oscar win. Con Air needed a big-name actor to carry the lead role. Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger were both muscular hunks, which didn't quite fit the new style of action films Aaron had in mind. Aaron wanted Con Air to film next year and release the year after. Action star Bruce Willis was also stretched thin, with films like Die Hard 3 and 12 Monkeys next year. If Tom Cruise ultimately couldn't join Con Air, Aaron still had a backup option, Keanu Reeves. Tom Cruise smiled. My current agent is Ms. Pat Kingsley. I'll discuss this with her when the time comes. After chatting with Tom Cruise, Aaron received a long-distance call from Wang Xiuxin in Hong Kong. It was 9 p.m. Los Angeles time, and with a 16-hour time difference in Hong Kong, it was already 1 p.m. the next day. Oh, you've already picked out several houses. Aaron had previously asked Wang Xiuxin to help him purchase several properties in Hong Kong as investments, and she had already made her selection. Can I come over and take a look in person? Okay, that's fine. I'll fly over as soon as possible. Wait for me. After hanging up, Aaron thought for a moment. It had been a while since he'd seen Wang Xiuxin, and it was definitely time to go over there and take a look. He could also take a trip to Japan and enjoy a hot spring bath with Noriko Fujiwara. What are you thinking about, Aaron? Aaron turned his head and saw Winona Ryder coming over. He smiled and said, I'm thinking about you. Chapter 243 You are not as skilled as her. In The Age of Innocence, your role was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress, so congratulations to you. According to my guess, the chances of you winning are very high. Aaron and Winona Ryder clinked their glasses. Your vision has always been quite accurate, Winona Ryder smiled. In the underground parking lot of the Peninsula Hotel, Aaron in the car hugged Winona Ryder and kissed her passionately, feeling the girl's fiery passion. 2 days ago, I met Gwyneth Paltrow, and she talked about you. Winona Ryder leaned in Aaron's arms with her clothes half undressed. Well, what did you say about me? Aaron, leaning back in the chair, stroked the delicate body in his arms. You are not simple. Winona Ryder looked at Aaron meaningfully. It seems that she has felt your strength. Aaron shook his head. We met in a bar in New York, and there is not much story between us. Winona Ryder smiled, then leaned over and let Aaron take a breath. Is that so? Gwyneth told me everything. Aaron said go on, soon. Aaron leaned back in the chair and closed his eyes, put his hand on the girl's hair, and enjoyed Winona Ryder's service. It seems that you have a good relationship. She even told you all this. After returning to the villa in Bel Air, Aaron was a little confused about the relationship between Winona Ryder and Gwyneth Paltrow. It's okay, we get along well. Winona Ryder leaned in Aaron's arms. What do you think of Gwyneth Paltrow? Aaron smiled, leaned close to Winona Ryder's ear and whispered, I feel that her skills are better than yours. Winona Ryder was stunned for a moment, then reached out and pinched the man's body a few times. What are you thinking about? You know what I mean. If you continue like this, don't expect me to help you enjoy it in the future. Okay. Aaron kissed the girl on the face in his arms. I'm kidding. As for Gwyneth Paltrow, you also know that her father is a producer, her mother is an actress, and she has a good relationship with the famous director Steven Spielberg. She is also Spielberg's goddaughter. Relatively speaking, she has no shortage of resources, and her figure and appearance are also very popular. It will be much easier for her to become famous. Winona Ryder nodded. She has a 3-movie contract with Miramax, but she doesn't like Harvey Weinstein, the head of Miramax. She claims that he is always trying to get close to her and take advantage of her, Aaron said casually. Harvey Weinstein is just that kind of person. Miramax invests in some art films and needs actresses. These people are his prey. Let's go and have a rest. Aaron pinched Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder took a breath. Why are you in such a good mood tonight? Tomorrow, I have to return to the crew of Little Women to continue filming. Well, I have to go to Asia too. Aaron picked up the girl directly. Winona Ryder, her arm around the man's neck, hastily reminded him, go shower first. Of course, let's do it together. With Dawn Pictures officially paying $120 million to Samuel Goldwyn Films for its film and television copyright library, Dawn suddenly had over 1,000 feature films, expanding its slate. In Burbank, in Dawn's office, Paula Wagner had come to visit Aaron Anderson. After meeting Paula Wagner, Aaron poured her a glass of wine. Is it confirmed that Cruise Wagner Film's first work will be Mission Impossible? Paula Wagner put down the script of Con Air in her hand and took the glass. Yes, Tom and I thought so. We will participate in the whole process from script preparation to the selection of directors and actors. I have been an agent for so long, and now I am a producer. I feel more pressure. Aaron smiled. What do you think of the script of Con Air? Is the story okay? Well, it's a pure action movie, and the scenes are thrilling. Your vision is always accurate. Paula Wagner had no reason to object. After all, the next Mission Impossible is also an action movie. Tom can shoot this Con Air first to adapt to it. How about you co-produce this movie? Con Air has some big scenes, bigger than Speed, and the budget is double, $60 million. After all, Tom Cruise is the lead actor, and his salary is $15 million. Without a $60 million budget, it would be difficult to convince him to star. Can I co-produce Con Air? Paula Wagner was indeed tempted. She had never produced before, so this was a great opportunity. Sure, Tom is also very interested in your idea. Do you have anyone in mind for the director? Yes, Renny Harlin. Renny Harlin had directed Die Hard 2 and this year's Cliffhanger, both action blockbusters that grossed over $250 million worldwide. Directing Con Air, and working with Tom Cruise, was a no-brainer. Paula Wagner nodded. Is Con Air going to be released this summer after next year? That's right, so we need to finish the production and start shooting as soon as possible. Well, then Tom and I will join as soon as possible. After Paula Wagner left, Aaron's assistant, Esther Beckett, entered the office and handed over a script for a teen horror film. It's a teen comedy horror story by new screenwriter Kevin Williamson, focusing on a school serial killer. As Esther Beckett explained, Aaron began flipping through the pages. It turned out to be from Scream. No wonder it's considered a comedy horror film. It's a great story, about a schoolboy and a girl, with gory murder and plenty of comedy. We can definitely give it to Twilight Pictures to produce. Twilight Pictures was currently filming Garage Terror, a racy thriller horror film, unlike the comedic style of Scream. Esther Beckett shrugged. It seems the script has also been spotted by Miramax's genre film label, Dimension Films. Now we need to compete for the price. This is screenwriter Kevin Williamson's first script, but the price has already exceeded $600,000. Bid. Aaron waved his hand. Keep raising the price. The script for Scream is quite commercial. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244 Carlock's Situation. Because Aaron also had his eye on the Scream script, Twilight Pictures, a subsidiary of Dawn, and Dimension Films, a subsidiary of Miramax, entered into competition. Many horror directors were skeptical of Scream, considering it more of a comedy than a serious horror film. However, Twilight Pictures ultimately spent $750,000 to acquire the script from rookie screenwriter Kevin Williamson. Without the Scream series, Miramax will be missing a hit. Aaron was delighted when he received the news. After all, it was a steal from Miramax. In the Dawn Pictures office, Aaron, leaning back in his chair, had just put down his phone when Esther Beckett entered. Boss, this is a document sent by Miss Paula Wagner, and there's some bad news. Director Renny Harlin is going to direct Carlock's pirate film, Cutthroat Island, so he can't direct Con Air. Aaron flipped through the document. It listed several potential action film directors, including Jan de Bont and John McTiernan. Jan de Bont was the director of this year's Speed, his debut film. Let them talk. Con Air isn't difficult to direct, it's mainly about the action. Since Renny Harlin wasn't available, they could just find another director. That's Carlock's Cutthroat Island. MGM distributed it, right? Esther Beckett nodded. It was MGM. After Carlock's distribution deal with Columbia TriStar ended, he signed a distribution deal with MGM. It should be handled by CAA. The budget for Cutthroat Island is $60 million, and the current male and female leads are Michael Douglas and Geena Davis. Aaron smiled. Cutthroat Island is a very famous movie, as it is a record-breaking loss-making film in the Guinness World Records. The director is Renny Harlin, and the male and female leads are Michael Douglas and Geena Davis. And Geena Davis is Renny Harlin's wife. They just got married this year. Aaron shook his head slightly. He remembered clearly that the final lead in Cutthroat Island wasn't Michael Douglas, but an unknown actor. Director Renny Harlin had rewritten the script to make it a thoroughly female-centric film, and Michael Douglas, unwilling to support the couple, withdrew from the role. Furthermore, the whimsical actions of director Renny Harlin and lead actress Geena Davis, who filmed Cutthroat Island, had driven the budget of Cutthroat Island up exponentially, ultimately costing nearly $100 million. Carlock, that's quite intriguing, Aaron said. His interest in Carlock stemmed from his lavish spending on films. He invested heavily in his films, favoring action and sci-fi, and offering exorbitant salaries to major stars. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, released 2 years ago, was produced by Carlock. It was the first film to turn over $100 million. James Cameron and Schwarzenegger received hefty salaries of $6 million and $15 million, respectively. Michael Douglas also received $12 million for Basic Instinct, and Sylvester Stallone received $16 million for Clark. Because Carlock lacked distribution channels, he simply invested in the film and signed a co-distribution agreement with Columbia TriStar. Terminator 2, Judgment Day was produced with European loans. While it achieved impressive box office returns of $200 million in North America and $500 million worldwide, the high costs of publicity and distribution, as well as the interest on the loans, were unsatisfactory. Carlock's inability to quickly recover funds resulted in a mountain of debt, necessitating a rapid restructuring. The result of the asset restructuring was the sale of future film rights. As luck would have it, Carlock's next few films were box office hits, but it missed out completely. These included last year's Basic Instinct, Universal Soldier, another sci-fi action film directed by Roland Emmerich and co-starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, and this year's Clark starring Sylvester Stallone. Carlock was probably planning to make a blockbuster to recover, Atheline Beckett suddenly explained. They discussed with James Cameron about filming Terminator 3, but he had a directing contract with 20th Century Fox and was working on other projects. Another project was The Crusades, directed by Paul Verhoeven, with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the lead. In the end, they chose Cutthroat Island, probably because they thought it would be the cheapest option. James Cameron, needless to say, is known for burning through money when it comes to making movies. Paul Verhoeven had directed Total Recall and Basic Instinct, and working with Schwarzenegger meant the budget was bound to be substantial. Aaron touched his chin. Carlock must have spent millions of dollars preparing for The Crusades, so, is it just shelved now? It seems Mario Casal is really optimistic about Renny Harlin. Mario Casal is the current president of Carlock Pictures. He likes to hire big stars and directors to shoot action and science fiction blockbusters. It's not surprising that he is optimistic about Renny Harlin. Not to mention that the Finnish director directed Die Hard 2. This year, his cliffhanger made Stallone a comeback. The global box office of $250 million is not fake, and the reputation of the film is not low. Pirate Movie, Spielberg's previous film Hook for TriStar, also made a lot of money. It's not surprising that Carlock is optimistic about pirate themes. Listening to Atheline Beckett's words, Aaron just sighed in his heart. What would she feel if she knew that after Cutthroat Island was released, it would become the most unprofitable movie in the Guinness Book of World Records? At that time, pirate-themed works would become a taboo in Hollywood, making all film companies and producers shudder at the mere mention of pirates. In the future, it would be Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean series that would bring pirate themes back to Hollywood. By the way, how are the preparations for Jonathan Demme's The Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon going? Aaron was more concerned about the prequel's predecessor project. The lead actors have been confirmed. Nicolas Cage, Anthony Hopkins, and Ralph Fiennes have all been agreed, and they are currently casting supporting actors. The director is selecting the filming location, and once the crew is assembled, we can officially start shooting. Chapter 245: The Importance of the Japanese Market. That evening, Aaron returned to his villa in Mandeville Canyon, Beverly Hills. Christiana Yeri had also returned to Los Angeles. The buzz surrounding the Victoria's Secret fashion show had boosted Victoria's Secret sales significantly. From your looks, things must be going smoothly over there, right? Aaron leaned back on the sofa, holding Christiana Yeri in his arms. Well, Victoria's Secret is doing very well. I'm sure it'll be even better next year, Christiana Yeri said, hugging the man and kissing him, feeling deeply grateful. Aaron responded enthusiastically, feeling the woman's tenderness, and said, Dawn, you want to play a role in Red Dragon? Red Dragon? Christiana Yeri's eyes were hazy, and she leaned into the man's arms. Okay, when does filming start? About 2 or 3 months, soon anyway. Director Jonathan Demme only had this project on hand, and nothing else, so filming Red Dragon was the perfect fit. That's pretty soon. Pulp Fiction will be released next year, and I'll be participating in Red Dragon, the Silence of the Lambs prequel. It can be considered as slowly accumulating experience, Christiana Yeri said, lying on the sofa, pulling the man to press on her. I've been in the United States for almost a year, and it's great to be able to star in 2 Hollywood productions. Aaron smiled and kissed the other's lips. It's not enough. Don't worry, you came to Hollywood from France. Of course I will make you shine. Look at Sophie Marceau. 4 Weddings and a Funeral is a global hit, and this year she collaborated with superstar Harrison Ford on The Pursuit. You? Christiana Yeri touched Aaron's face. Sophie Marceau is willing to stay by your side. You're amazing. The beloved of a French man was abducted by you, an American. Fang Fang has a great influence in France, and the French box office is much higher than 4 Weddings and a Funeral. No, you're alluring too. The moment I first laid eyes on you, I decided I had to be your man. Christiana Yeri's beauty was irresistible, captivating at first sight. Her exquisite features, every detail a meticulously crafted work of art, her eyes deep and luminous, as if they could see through people's hearts, her nose high and bridge, her lips rosy and plump, every inch of her exuded a captivating charm. Christiana Yeri's lips curled up. There are so many beautiful women in Hollywood. I wonder when you, this Hollywood playboy, will stop. Aaron blinked, reaching out to caress the girl's face. Well, I can't stop now. With Christmas approaching, Aaron finally left Los Angeles and flew to Asia, his first stop being Tokyo, Japan. And at that moment, Tokyo was freezing cold and blanketed in snow. After almost a year, Noriko Fujiwara hadn't changed much, and she was still overjoyed to see Aaron Anderson. 90 kilometers from Tokyo, in Hakone's Hoshino Onsen, a hot spring resort in western Kanagawa, Aaron comfortably embraced Fujiwara Noriko, his face radiating satisfaction. It's truly a pleasurable experience. Fujiwara Noriko nestled in Aaron's arms, her impressive figure pressed against him. Aoni-san, why haven't you come over once? Aaron smiled. This year, I was busy with Hollywood, so I was delayed. Look, now I have time. Why don't I just come over? Yeah. Fujiwara Noriko kissed Aaron affectionately on the cheek. Aoni-san, Christmas is coming soon. Are you planning to spend it in Tokyo? Aaron shook his head. Tokyo, isn't it too cold? Like last year, let's go to Hong Kong. It's much warmer there. After all, Aaron still had to go to Hong Kong to meet Wang Xiuxin and check out his real estate. Sure, Hong Kong is nice, and the film industry is quite developed, said Fujiwara Noriko, who had accompanied Aaron to Hong Kong and BJ last year and had a very positive experience. Aaron nodded, but it seems that Japan nowadays is not so good, right? Since the early 1990s, the Japanese stock market and real estate have collapsed. The huge real estate and stock market bubbles have led to a large number of bad debts and dead debts. A large number of banks and real estate companies have gone bankrupt, and there are clusters of unfinished buildings in Tokyo Bay. Large companies have begun to close down and unemployment has spread. This year alone, 14,000 companies in Japan have closed down. The entire Japanese society is in mourning, panic, and depression. At night, on the bed in the hotel, Aaron got off Fujiwara Noriko and felt the girl's softness. How have you been in Japan this year? Mainly shooting magazines and commercials, and also making guest appearances on TV, so I can be considered to have entered the film and television industry. I also participated in some activities held by Akebano's branch in Japan, which increased my exposure a lot. After all, Fujiwara Noriko has some relationship with Aaron, so it is normal for Akebano International Pictures Japan Company, Limited to take care of her. Akebano's several films had high box office in Japan. Speed took in 4.5 billion yen, second only to Jurassic Park with 8.3 billion yen, ranking second in the year, and Schindler's List also had 2.05 billion yen. This year, the US dollar has been appreciating against the Japanese yen, and the exchange rate is now 110. Aaron Akebano now has a lot of Japanese yen. Don't worry, Shugwang doesn't have any domestic projects in Japan right now, but there will be some in the future. Aaron patted the girl in his arms. You should know the dynamics of the entertainment industry. If you have any problems, call me. I'll leave you some money when the time comes. As for your career, you can completely decide based on your interests." Aaron thought for a moment and reminded her, "Japan's anime industry is extremely developed. If you're interested, you can definitely start a small manga studio. Who knows, you might stumble upon a hit manga and develop an animated series, then a theatrical version, a live-action film adaptation, and so on." Japan's live-action films are mediocre right now, but the manga industry is undeniably robust. On the annual box office charts, most Japanese films are manga theatrical adaptations. And Japan's music market is also incredibly prosperous and developed. After all, it's the world's second largest economy, so the market size is certainly sufficient. Furthermore, Japan takes copyright protection very seriously, far better than in Europe and the United States. Chapter 246: The End of Hong Kong Movies. After 2 days in Tokyo, Aaron flew to his destination, Hong Kong. Norika Fujiwara stayed in Tokyo and would join Aaron in Hong Kong in a few days. This year's Hong Kong films truly demonstrated the strength of Hollywood. Jurassic Park raked in $62 million in Hong Kong, breaking the $50 million and $60 million records, ranking first at the Hong Kong box office that year. Speed took in $46 million, ranking second. In third place was Stephen Chow's comedy Flirting Scholar, which took in $40 million. This was the first time a foreign film had taken the annual box office crown in Hong Kong. At the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, Wang Xuexin and Aaron sat on the sofa together. "That's all. I bought you 6 single-family villas ranging from 4,000 to 5,500 square feet. They're located in wealthy areas like Deepwater Bay, Mid-Levels, Sheko, and Kellett Hill. There happened to be one for sale near your previous villa in Repulse Bay, so I bought it for you too," Wang Xuexin said, a look of envy on her face. "It cost over 300 million Hong Kong dollars, which is $40 million US dollars. Aaron smiled, lifted her chin, and kissed her. "Do you like it? You can live there anytime. I really like the house in Vancouver. I'm mainly filming in Hong Kong. When I have time, I live there for a long time. There are too many police officers in Hong Kong," Wang Xuexin said, leaning on Aaron's shoulder. Her tone clearly showed her dislike for staying in Hong Kong for a long time. "You're a big star here," Aaron would definitely understand. Just like actors like Nicole Kidman, after becoming famous, they have to face all kinds of media reporters. "You really got it right." The top 2 films in Hong Kong's annual box office rankings this year are both foreign language films. This has never happened before. The previous Ghost only ranked 3rd in the year, Wang Xuexin said with a helpless smile. Hong Kong films are really following the trend now, and they are becoming more and more shoddy. What's more serious is that some time ago, some film producers in Taipei, the largest foreign market for Hong Kong films, joined forces to put pressure on Hong Kong film companies. Aaron smiled, lowered his head and kissed the girl on the face. "I know this. Anyway, the final result is that Taipei has opened up the import configuration of Hollywood films. For some reasons, Taipei has very strict quotas on imported Western films. Coupled with its own weak film production capabilities, this has led to Hong Kong films dominating the market. This year, Long Xiang Films, one of the major Taipei film distributors, spent $30 million to acquire Stephen Chow's film Journey to the West, but the results were disappointing. Long Xiang, along with 7 other major Taipei film distributors, pressured Hong Kong films to reduce pay and production costs, in other words, to lower film copyright fees and set a ceiling. Obviously, Hong Kong films, having enjoyed years of profits, would not tolerate this. During the dispute, Taipei film distributors directly pushed for the government to lift import quotas on Hollywood films. So, Hollywood profited from this. Journey to the West was merely the trigger. The main reason was that Hong Kong has been producing so many films annually in recent years, resulting in shoddy productions and a lack of innovation. While Hong Kong filmmakers have been raking in the dough, even a second or third tier actor might be filming several films simultaneously, not to mention the A-list stars, who are even more busy. Even with some star-studded films, it's impossible to get everyone on set at once, so directors resort to using doubles to get by. For example, in Legend of the War God, which cost Hong Kong superstar Andy Lau dearly, only one scene in the entire film featured all 4 main actors. For the rest, not only were the fighting scenes performed by doubles, But even much of the drama was filmed using doubles, using reverse shots. Beyond the actors, even the behind-the-scenes staff, like lighting and props, were also involved. The busy schedule of Hong Kong filmmakers indirectly contributed to a third hidden danger, the skyrocketing salaries for actors and actresses. All of this is the fundamental reason for the decline of Hong Kong cinema. Wang Xiuxin nodded. I almost forgot. You're definitely interested in this kind of news. By the way, when is Golden Harvest planning to release Rumble in the Bronx? Oh, during the Lunar New Year holiday, at the end of next month, which is late January next year. Wang Xiuxin glanced at the man. When is Hollywood planning to release it? Wang Xiuxin and Jack Cheng had already collaborated on the film City Hunter, which grossed HK $30.87 million, ranking 5th in Hong Kong's annual box office. Now, of course, anticipation for this Hollywood co-production, Rumble in the Bronx, is even greater. Yes, next August, said Xu Guang, who was definitely waiting for Rumble in the Bronx to become a huge hit in Asia before arranging a North American release. By the way, Hong Kong's other action star, Jet Li, is doing well with his films this year, Aaron suddenly inquired. After all, Xu Guang had previously purchased Jack Chang's films Operation Condor and Super Cop, as well as the two Once Upon a Time in China films starring Jet Li. Yes, Jet Li left Golden Harvest this year and formed his own Zhangdong Film Company, which produced a kung fu film Fong Song Yuk, which also grossed 30 million Hong Kong dollars, ranking 6th for the year. The subsequent sequel, Fong Song Yuk 2, The Last Stand, also grossed 23 million Hong Kong dollars. Also, I recently heard that Taipei film company Longxiang Film Company has purchased the Taipei rights to 3 of Jet Li's future films, spending a total of 36 million Hong Kong dollars, besides the 2 films Fong Song Yuk and Tai Chi Master produced by his Zhangdong Film Company this year. Jet Li also released other films such as Once Upon a Time in China II, The Iron Chicken and the Centipede and the Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber, The Demon Cult Leader, Zhangdong Film Company, Aaron said, hugging the girl in his arms. He actually knew Jet Li's film company. Next up were Bodyguard from Beijing and Fist of Fury. Wang Xiuxin hugged Aaron and kissed him on the lips. Jack Cheng won the Best Actor award at the Taipei Golden Horse Awards for his film Crime Squad, which was released this summer. It's a crime action film. Aren't you interested in buying it? Aaron smiled and nodded. Hollywood is only interested in some kung fu films now, or action comedies are also fine. The most important thing is that the action is exciting and the scenes are thrilling and exciting. As for Jack Cheng winning Best Actor? Aaron, it was hard to be interested. Chapter 247 The Wronged Superstar. Another key factor in Hong Kong's film industry's predicament is its small market. After all, Hong Kong, with a population of only 6 million, cannot sustain its thriving entertainment industry. This export bottleneck is a devastating blow to the Hong Kong film and television industry, which produces 200 films annually. Wang Xiuxin had 5 films released in the first half of this year, including New Meteor Butterfly Sword, City Hunter, Invincible East 2, The Storm Rising, The Legend of the Condor Heroes, East is Red, West is West, and Outlaws of the Marsh, A True Hero. If she hadn't gone to Hollywood to film Rumble in the Bronx in the second half of the year, she would have had other projects. Such is the busy life of Hong Kong celebrities these days. Early in the morning, on the bed in the hotel bedroom, Aaron lay on top of Wang Xiuxin. Did that Hong Kong tycoon bother you any more? Wang Xiuxin smiled, scratching the man's back a few times. No, just ignore him. Besides, it doesn't really matter to me now whether I'm filming or not. After the filming of Rumble in the Bronx ended, Wang Xiuxin followed Aaron's advice and invested in some real estate in Hong Kong. Otherwise, she wouldn't have stopped accepting scripts after returning from the US. If there's a script I like, I can still act, but there's no need to shoot so many films a year. Aaron stroked the woman's body. But I think Hong Kong films will go straight downhill from now on. They still have to wait and see if the mainland market can develop. Otherwise, the prospects for Hong Kong films will only get smaller and smaller. In the current situation, Hong Kong films will find it difficult to compete with Hollywood's special effects blockbusters and large-scale action films. Well, it's already started. This year's market is much worse than last year. Wang Xiuxin, who was originally from the film industry, of course knew all this. Aaron smiled and then turned over and got down. I can still hold on for a while. After all, Hong Kong films have a solid foundation. Aren't you getting up yet? It's getting late. Wang Xiuxin lay in Aaron's arms and kissed the man on the face affectionately. "Are you hungry?" Aaron hugged the girl to himself. Compared to Tokyo, Hong Kong's climate is much warmer. After knowing that Aaron was in Hong Kong, Raymond Chow of Golden Harvest Film Company also came to visit. The other party talked about The Hard Target, a film released this year by Hong Kong director John Woo. This action film directed by a Chinese director was commercially successful. Universal invested nearly $20 million in the budget of John Woo's The Hard Target, which earned $32 million in North America and $74 million worldwide. Commercially, it's indeed not bad. John Woo has taken the first step in Hollywood, Raymond Chow smiled. Aaron nodded. This is John Woo's first Hollywood film, and it showcases his violent aesthetic perfectly. Jean-Claude Van Damme's fight scenes are quite captivating, however, compared to his previous films like A Better Tomorrow, while the action is more dramatic, the techniques more advanced, and the scenes more visually stunning, the characters are also more subdued. The Hard Target only pursues visual impact, but neglects emotional impact. Combined with a simple plot and unremarkable characters, its critical acclaim has been mediocre. Perhaps this is because it was John Woo's first Hollywood film, and he was working with Hollywood action star Jean-Claude Van Damme, who didn't have much power on the set. Jean-Claude Van Damme's dominance weakened John Woo's control over The Hard Target. Is Su Guang confident in the North American release of Rumble in the Bronx? Chow Win-Hui was most concerned about Rumble in the Bronx, a collaboration between Golden Harvest and Su Guang. He desperately hoped that Jack Cheng could make a name for himself in Hollywood. Aaron smiled. Don't worry, Rumble in the Bronx is pretty good. With Jackie Chan's fame, it's going to be a big hit in Asia, so it shouldn't be a problem. When it's released in North America next year, we'll distribute it commercially and give it the proper publicity and promotion. Hearing this, Chow finally put his worries to rest. After all, Chinese-language films in North America don't typically release on a large scale, primarily in Chinese community theaters. Then, I wish Rumble in the Bronx a huge box office success. Chow smiled, raised his glass, and clinked it with Aaron's. While Aaron was spending Christmas in Hong Kong, far away in Hollywood, the situation was escalating due to the allegations of child molestation against Michael Jackson. After Jordan Chandler formally filed the accusation that fall, the Los Angeles police launched a criminal investigation into Michael Jackson's child molestation, including a raid on Neverland Ranch. Jordan Chandler's father, Evan Chandler, demanded $20 million from Michael Jackson for a private settlement, but the two sides failed to reach an agreement. Los Angeles police searched Michael Jackson's home but found no leads. They even strip-searched him, but still found nothing. However, a family member, his runaway sister, suddenly released a statement accusing her brother of being a pedophile and making numerous offensive statements against him. Suffering both physical and psychological damage, Michael Jackson canceled the Australian and US dates of his Dangerous tour. On the night before Christmas, Michael Jackson held a personal statement press conference live on satellite TV at his Neverland Ranch. As you all know by now, after my tour ended, I stayed abroad for a long time to treat the side effects of my addiction to painkillers. There have been a lot of disgusting statements about alleged misconduct against me recently, and they are completely false. I want to say that I am tormented and upset by these maddening things and the terrible media hype. The media always finds every opportunity to hype up this accusation to achieve their goals. I have been forced to undergo a completely inhumane and humiliating examination. This is arguably the most humiliating and frightening thing I have ever encountered in my life. But I endure this examination because I can use it to prove my innocence. I am completely innocent, although there were many people who supported Michael Jackson's innocence, such as Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis Presley's daughter who fell in love with him, former Hollywood superstar Elizabeth Taylor, and famous British singer Elton John. But at this time Michael Jackson's physical and mental condition were already very bad. Chapter 248 Such Unrestrained. On Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas, Noriko Fujiwara traveled from Tokyo to Hong Kong, as Wang Xiuxin had to go to her home in Taipei for an urgent matter. Aaron brought Noriko Fujiwara to their former villa in Repulse Bay, Hong Kong. In bed that night, Aaron embraced the alluring Noriko Fujiwara while speaking on the phone with Jack Wills in the United States. Wills had formed a friendship with George W. Bush and was financially supporting his Texas gubernatorial campaign. Meanwhile, construction was about to begin on the Dawn Center in Houston. Aaron kissed the girl in his arms and asked, "Jack, what's going on with Michael Jackson now? The scandal has had a huge impact on him. What do you think? My opinion. Michael Jackson was clearly wronged. The Chandler family is just trying to defraud him of a large sum of money. Jack Wells on the phone smiled helplessly. I like him too, but he's facing a lot of resistance this time. His company, Sony Music, doesn't want him to be affected too much by this incident. 2 years ago, Michael Jackson signed a $1 billion contract with Sony Music. At the end of the year, he released his hit studio album Dangerous, which was a huge hit. The following year, Michael Jackson embarked on his Dangerous Tour World Tour. Now, due to the child molestation case, Michael Jackson's Dangerous Tour World Tour has been cancelled for the second leg. Sony Music has suffered considerable losses, and if Michael Jackson continues to be plagued by scandals and various accusations, Sony will not agree. Perhaps it has something to do with Michael Jackson's company, ATV Music Publishing. In 1985, Michael Jackson successfully competed to acquire ATV Music Publishing for a whopping $47.5 million. ATV Music Publishing holds the copyrights to over 4,000 songs, including a catalog of over 200 Beatles songs, classic Elvis Presley hits, and hits by Little Richard Penniman. This deal also irked Michael Jackson's close friend, Beatle Paul McCartney, as it was Paul McCartney who first informed him of the ATV Music Publishing deal. McCartney had long sought to reclaim the Beatles' copyrights, but now they belonged entirely to Michael Jackson. A black artist possessing such coveted copyrights irked many white investors. Michael Jackson's handling of the copyrights is provocative to the investors behind him. Michael Jackson was a key CAA client, and Jack Wells was well aware of this. After hanging up the phone, Aaron wondered if Shu Guang would also enter the record industry. Oni-san, is there anything going on in the United States? The well-behaved Norika Fujiwara in his arms kissed Aaron on the face affectionately. Aaron smiled, kissed the girl on the lips, and then caressed her chest. Nothing, just the news about the Michael Jackson child molestation case that made a lot of noise this year. Really? There are so many scandals about Michael Jackson now. Was he wrongly accused? Well, of course. After all, Michael Jackson is a very kind person, and he has always loved children. He is also a great philanthropist. He would not do such a thing. Aaron knew the truth in the first place, but it was just that some white people in the United States wanted to touch him. What a shame. Michael Jackson was a world-famous pop star with countless fans, said Fujiwara Norika, sitting on the man. Her sizzling 34E figure was on full display, and Aaron couldn't let go. After spending Christmas with Fujiwara Norika, Aaron suddenly received a call from Wang Xiuxin, saying she had arrived in Hong Kong. Soon, Aaron arrived at Wang Xiuxin's high-rise residence in Tsim Sha Tsui, Kowloon. The 2,800 square foot space overlooked Victoria Harbor. Have you taken care of the family matters? Aaron held Wang Xiuxin by the window, admiring the breathtaking sea view. Yes, Wang Xiuxin said, turning and kissing the man passionately. After the kiss, Aaron reached under the woman's shirt, hugged her tightly, and smiled. It's only been a few days since we've been apart, and you missed me so much already. Wang Xiuxin narrowed her eyes and nuzzled into the man's arms. Well, don't you miss me? Of course I do. Wang Xiuxin smiled slightly, turned around, and kissed the man again. Aaron hummed in his sleep, and the girl had already squatted down. Wang Xiuxin, who came out of the bathroom, saw Aaron lazily half lying on the sofa, walked over, sat down next to the man intimately, and put her arm around his arm. When I was going home, I met Ms. Su Feng, the producer of Farewell My Concubine. She said that an old senior in the film industry who I had worked with wanted to develop a script and hoped to find investors. So, I thought of you. The investment in the movie is about 40 to 50 million Hong Kong dollars. Aaron smiled and reached out to stroke the girl's thigh. No wonder you were so unrestrained just now. It turns out you have something to ask for. Wang Xiuxin looked at the man in front of her with her big eyes, and put her arm around his waist. No wonder. This script was prepared by that old senior for many years, but he couldn't get foreign investment. This year, director John Woo directed the action movie The Ultimate Target in Hollywood, and he has gained a certain fame. He is willing to be a producer, and a European film company is willing to bear half of the production costs. As for the other half, I'm hoping to find an American distributor to invest. Ms. Su Feng probably knows I know you, so I'm giving it a try. You can take a look at it. It's perfectly normal if you don't invest. Not many people are interested in this script. Aaron nodded and took the script from the girl. A Story of Blood and Tears of the Chinese Laborers, directed by King Hu, tells the tragic story of the early Chinese laborers who were sold across the ocean to build the railway in the United States and their arduous struggles in a foreign land. King Hu is a renowned director, having directed early Chinese martial arts films such as Drunken Master, Dragon Inn, and A Touch of Zen, and is one of the earliest Chinese filmmakers to gain international recognition. For me, it's just a small investment. Aaron pinched the other person's face. Since it was you who brought it, of course I have to meet the person in charge of the project. You can notify him, even if it is 50 million Hong Kong dollars, it is only about 6.5 million US dollars when converted, and half of the funds have been raised from Europe. For Xu Guang, it is just a very small co-production project. Chapter 249 Developing New Markets. That night, Wang Xuexin brought Aaron to the Tycoon nightclub in Simsha East to meet with another producer on the Chinese Workers' Blood and Tears project. The resplendent Tycoon nightclub was a popular destination in Hong Kong, with a constant stream of patrons. In the VIP lounge, Zhang Jiasun was thrilled to see Aaron Anderson entering. Anderson was a collaborator of director John Woo, and the two had formed New Milestone Films, which had produced many masterpieces, including Across the World and Hard-Boiled. Mr. Anderson, congratulations. It's been another fruitful year for Xu Guang. Zhang Jiasun, the man who had helped John Woo enter Hollywood and a graduate of New York University's film school, had always kept an eye on the Hollywood scene. Aaron Anderson's name was a household name. Then, with a subtle glance at Wang Xuexin, he wondered if he'd ever met such a prominent figure. Aaron smiled. Okay, Terrence, let's talk about the blood and tears of Chinese laborers. Zhang Jiasun's English name is Terrence Zhang. This story primarily recounts the tragic history of Chinese laborers who were sold as slaves to the United States after the Opium War during the Qing Dynasty. Just as the remains of Chinese laborers lie beneath every railroad tie of the Central Pacific Railroad, Leland Stanford, the founder of Stanford University, was one of the 10 great tycoons of the Gilded Age. He was also the first governor of California and president of the Central Pacific Railroad, the renowned railroad king. Leland Stanford's construction of the Century Avenue, the Pacific Railroad, which spanned North America, was paved with the blood and bones of countless Chinese laborers. When the time comes, the film will be shot on the United States to recreate that historical moment. Director King Hu is very meticulous about the costumes and props, so the majority of the expenses will probably be spent on the sets. Listening to Zhang Jiasun's words, it's no wonder there are no foreign investors. However, for Aaron, this wasn't particularly important. After all, for Xu Guang, this investment was minimal. Aaron smiled. Sure, I'll have Crescent Films invest. You can start planning the project anytime. Thank you very much, you've agreed to invest already. Wang Xuexin was still a little surprised after returning to her high-rise apartment in Simsha. Well, since you asked, I have to give you face. Aaron hugged the girl and sat on the sofa. He kissed her red lips. Don's investment is only $3 million, so it won't make a big difference. Besides, I want to see how this story will turn out after it's filmed. Wang Xuexin smiled and put her arm around the man's neck affectionately. You're so kind. How can I thank you? Aaron stroked the girl's body and whispered, weren't you very unrestrained yesterday? What man could resist such temptation? Well, let's go take a shower first, Wang Xuexin whispered softly. Aaron scooped up the girl and headed for the bathroom amid her exclamations. Let's go, let's take a bath together. After agreeing to Zhang Jiasun's investment in the blood and tears of Chinese workers, Aaron called Los Angeles and asked Crescent Films to cooperate. Director King Hu also arrived in Hong Kong to begin formal preparations, naturally casting Wang Xuexin as the film's leading lady. Meanwhile, the mainland Chinese film market, under the planned economy's unified purchase and sales model, was completely uncompetitive, leaving it sluggish. This year, China's Ministry of Radio, Film, and Television finally launched reforms to the film industry. From the previous system of distributing domestic feature films, which had been uniformly distributed by China Film Corporation, the studios would now negotiate directly with local distributors, thereby promoting the various studios to the market. However, Aaron was not optimistic about this prospect. With the entire industry still state-owned, local production companies not only had no knowledge of distribution, but also lacked the ability to produce commercially appealing films. Without liberalization of private distribution companies and production companies, the situation would be difficult. With the Chinese film market in such a slump, Change was necessary. At the Shangri-La Hotel in Hong Kong, Aaron and Raymond Chow, arriving from Repulse Bay, enjoyed afternoon tea together. Over there, they're already discussing importing foreign films and implementing a box office revenue sharing model to align with international standards. It's the China Film Corporation's proposal. To address the sluggish domestic film market, they're proposing to import the latest, top-tier foreign films using the internationally accepted box office revenue sharing model. The proceeds from these films will be used to support the film industry in rural areas, especially those with minorities, and those in remote and impoverished areas. As a Hong Kong film tycoon, Raymond Chow's focus on the vast market of over 1 billion people is crucial. Aaron smiled. There should be a lot of resistance to introducing foreign films, right? Zhu Wenhui nodded. The resistance is not small. Many people are opposed to it. They think that this will allow American films to occupy the Chinese film market and use China's box office revenue to fatten foreign film producers, which is not conducive to stabilizing the morale of the entire Chinese film industry. They think that this will seriously squeeze the development space of domestic films. Aaron spread his hands. Without pressure, there is no motivation. This is the catfish effect. They are just worried that they can't compete and endanger their own stability. But if we don't make changes, how can we make progress? How can we develop our own film industry if we don't look at the industry effects outside? Zhu Wenhui smiled helplessly. Now Hong Kong's market in Taipei is being challenged by Hollywood. It is difficult for Hong Kong to compete with Hollywood blockbusters. The loss of the Taipei market will be a disaster for Hong Kong films. The new market in the north must be given our attention. In a few years, it will be 1997. By then, Hong Kong will return and bilateral relations will be closer. But the differences in Hong Kong films must be found as soon as possible. However, co-productions between Hong Kong and mainland China are developing, though the results haven't been very promising. That evening, Aaron stood by the window of his hotel suite, gazing out at the distant Victoria Harbour, his mind racing to China's Huanayan brand VCD player. In September, Huanayan had produced the world's first VCD player, and the initial batch of 1,000 units was quickly snapped up by various companies. By the way, Joey, do you know the Huanayan company in China that makes VCD players? Aaron asked Wang Xiuxin, who was sitting on the sofa. Oh, I think I do. It's in HF City, Anhui Province, China. My ancestral home is in Anhui, too. I went back there last year to pay respects to my ancestors. Although Wang Xiuxin was born in Taipei, her ancestral home is in Shenzhen, Anhui. Really? Aaron turned to look at the woman. It's true. Aaron nodded. VCDs don't really require much technological sophistication. Just a CD plus a decoding chip. It won't be long before Chinese VCD brands are popping up like mushrooms after rain. After all, China's current patent laws are extremely flawed. Chapter 250 Widespread Attention. At night, lying on the bed in the hotel, Aaron exhaled and looked at the ceiling lazily. After a while, Wang Xiuxin slowly crawled out from under the quilt, lay on the man's chest, and stretched out her hand to pinch it. Why do you have to make such a big fuss? And so exaggerated? Aaron smiled and then stroked the girl's long hair. This is your new trick. Doesn't this make you feel more accomplished? Wang Xiuxin opened her mouth and took a bite of the man's chest. Don't you like it? As she said that, she deliberately looked at the popping candy beside her. Okay, let's get down to business. Aaron stroked the girl on him. You should pay attention to the VCD player I told you about during the day. When a new brand of player appears, you can acquire one and then conduct large-scale advertising to build brand awareness as quickly as possible. When the time comes, I will invest in you, so don't worry about the money. When Aaron bought properties in Hong Kong, he established an investment company, Heiho Investment, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of his Cheyenne Fund. Manufacturing VCD players? Is it really that simple? Isn't Huanayan's market now? Wang Xiuxin was still a little confused. Aaron shook his head. VCDs are primarily CD technology and decoding chips, both of which are foreign. Huanayan has the patents for assembling them. Unfortunately, China's domestic patent law is imperfect, and Huanayan hasn't applied for a patent. Even if they did, they probably wouldn't have received one. As for foreign countries, once they've fully mastered VCD technology, they'll definitely upgrade their industry and won't allow VCDs to develop abroad. China doesn't have the chip technology. Companies like Panasonic, Sony, Philips, Toshiba, and Victory won't be relentless. I understand. By then, You think 1 Yen can compete with other companies, right? Of course, 1 Yen's majority shareholder is state-owned, so they won't have much to spend on advertising, but I don't understand it either. Just find someone who understands. Then, you can just bombard every TV station with advertising. You're a top star, so you can directly endorse it. Although the VCD's lifespan wasn't long, those few years were enough to make a lot of money. China's VCD market is by no means small. When DVDs came along, Aaron would remind Wang Xuexin to either withdraw or switch directly. Well, I'll pay attention to it. You must help me when the time comes. I don't know much about it, Wang Xuexin said in thought for a while. I will go and learn some business management. Aaron smiled. That's good. It's an indisputable fact that Hong Kong films are on the decline. Learning to do business is also a good choice. Wang Xuexin arched her back in the man's arms. I see. Well, do you want to try again after what we did just now? Listening to the girl's seductive tone, Aaron patted the girl on the back. Go to sleep. Try again tomorrow morning. On the last day of 1993, Aaron brought Fujiwara Norika to the Lisboa Hotel in Macau to celebrate the New Year, while Wang Xuexin returned to Taipei to celebrate New Year's Day. The theatrical screening of Shuguang films in Hong Kong is handled by Silver Metropole, while the videotapes and laserdiscs are distributed by Media Asia Entertainment. With the opening of the Taipei market, as an important market in Greater China, Shuguang will of course also get a piece of the pie. Asia isn't just Taipei. It also includes the Korean market in East Asia and Southeast Asia. Now that the Japanese branch is on track, it's time to expand into other Asian countries and regions, and Europe. We also need to accelerate the expansion of our international distribution network. Aaron sat on the sofa in his suite at the Lisboa Hotel, talking on the phone with Los Angeles. After a while, Aaron hung up, and Norika Fujiwara stood up and took a sip of the champagne beside him. Aaron smiled and stroked the thigh of the girl in front of him. Did you have fun in Hong Kong these days? Norika Fujiwara nodded without hesitation. I had a very comfortable time and bought a lot of things. Now I can come to Macau again, which is great. Aaron looked at his watch and glanced at the night view of Macau outside the window. In a little while, it will be 1994. There will be a fireworks show outside, which is very beautiful. Let's go to the casino downstairs to have some fun. Aaron stood up and sorted out his clothes. At this moment, it was morning in Los Angeles, far across the ocean. Since the copyright library of Samuel Goldwyn Films was acquired by Suzuki, Tom Rossman, president of Samuel Goldwyn, also joined Suzuki. As Suzuki's senior executive vice president, he is specifically responsible for Suzuki's international distribution business and home entertainment market. For this reason, Tom Rothman turned down an offer from 20th Century Fox, offered by Peter Chernin, chairman of Fox Entertainment Group, to become head of production. Fox Entertainment had just hired Bill McNichol, chairman of Disney's Buena Vista International Pictures, as chairman of 20th Century Fox Films, hoping that Rothman would assist him. Perhaps this was 20th Century Fox's way of repaying Disney for appointing Joe Roth as chairman of Disney Films. After all, Joe Roth was the chairman of 20th Century Fox Films. Asia, Europe, Tom Rothman smiled, leaning back in his office chair. Shuguang's development was indeed rapid. He had just been on the phone with Aaron Anderson. Shuguang had already established distribution offices in the UK, France, and Japan, with plans underway in Spain. Not only were there European countries like Germany and Italy, but now there were also Asian regions in Taipei, South Korea, and Southeast Asia. Tom Rothman hadn't anticipated Aaron's recent stay in Hong Kong, believing him to be in Japan. A few days ago, a script for a feature film titled The Blood and Tears of Chinese Laborers was released, co-invested by Crescent Films. It's a co-production with a largely Chinese director and cast. Don is currently showing The Philadelphia Story, a film that directly addresses AIDS. Its theme is to encourage care and support for people with AIDS, while also praising their unwavering spirit of self-reliance. It has quickly garnered widespread attention. Just as The Philadelphia Story was recently released, Scott Burr, a former attorney at Baker McKenzie in Philadelphia, filed a lawsuit against his former employer for illegally firing him after discovering he had HIV. Like the defendant in The Philadelphia Story, the law firm claimed they fired him due to incompetence and were unaware of his health condition. However, Baker McKenzie and Scott Burr recently reached a settlement for an undisclosed sum, allowing Scott Burr to continue his legal career. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.